It's not like the Heat's big two were awful. They combined for 50.
No, they just didn't make shots last night.
But the Nuggets big two combined for 66.
And they both had triple doubles.
Yes, they did.
Vincent was 2 of 10. Strus was 1 of 7. I mean, Butler and Adebayo had big point nights, but didn't shoot worth a damn.
Butler was getting worked by Christian Brown.
Breen early fourth quarter goes, the kid looks 16.
Yeah. Every single person I was with agreed.
Blades up 3-0. They won 1-0 last night.
Yep, they're going to lose game 4 and win game 5.
It's 2004 in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not only that, Coffin Ball, the guy who homered, who was it, Brinson? Benson? I mean, it was his first major league home run also. I mean, where are you going to go? Listen, Paul, in that division, they might contend like now.
And by contend, he means just get to 500.
Yeah, it might be all it takes. Cardinals won that division one year with 83, I think.
15 seconds.
What's pathetic is the Cardinals are 11 below 500, and they're not out of it.
No, they're not.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. We got over the hump yesterday. Hope your week is going well. How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton here on the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Thanks so much for being with us. Top of the morning to you, Mark. How are you?
Good morning, David. Doing well.
I know
Hope
you hit the
for a little
white
different outcome last night for the Heat, but they
know.
Well, they couldn't make a lot of shots last night. They couldn't get a rebound, and Denver did a much better job defending the three-point line. And all that being said, Denver wins the fourth quarter to win the game.
You know, I thought when the Heat were only down 5 at the half, I'm like, well, they've kind of ham and egged them here. And now if they could, show up and play a decent half, they're kind of the game 2 scenario was playing itself out. They were down like 6, I think, at the half in game 2 and 8 going to the fourth. And so, I'm thinking, well, if they could just hang around, eventually they'll start hitting some shots because that's what they do. Yeah, third quarter, they didn't hang around. Nuggets said, no, we'd like to win this one. We're going to take care of this like now. And that was pretty much it, baby. The fourth quarter was, just killing time, playing commercials, seeing how many fans stuck around to the end.
Can't turn them off. I will say that. You can't turn off a fourth quarter. Even, it got to 20 and I knew it was pretty much over, but it's like, maybe?
Well, sure. I mean, come down 3 threes, and then you're like, well, okay. They just cut it in half in about a minute 20. So I'm with you. I mean, Lowry came off a curl, hit a 3 with about 3.5 minutes to go. I said, well, okay, they're down like 15. A couple more of those. Who knows? But
not last night, as we saw something historic with 2 triple doubles.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the Heat's big two were awful. I mean, they were okay. I mean, they combined for 50.
Yeah, they shot about 30% from the floor, though.
It was a little better than that, actually. Okay, it just felt like it compared to the big two for Denver. I mean, weren't they around low 40s? But Bam
was 33% from the floor. He was 7 of 21, and Butler was 11 of 24. So yeah, you're right. It was a little better. It was probably closer to 40 than it was 30. But you got to shoot better than 18 of 45.
Yeah, you do. But also, they didn't get any help.
Nope.
And this just in, Denver grabbed another rebound. Wow, plus 26. Or plus 25 on the glass. Plus 25. I mean, the Nuggets almost grabbed twice as many rebounds as the Heat. Now you could... oh, man. Plus 26 points in the paint. That Jokic guy had a lot to do with that. So, Denver looking like the better team in the second half. And they're up 2-1. Yet to trail in a playoff series are the Nuggets, and now you feel as if it's a must-win for the Heat tomorrow if they want to win the series. What are the odds you're going to beat the Nuggets 3 in a row? I think even, Felipe, who picked the Heat in 7, I think was thinking, let's go a little 1-1, 2-2, 3 action, and then let's steal this sucker. So... both the Panthers, who are back in action tonight, and the Heat. Got to win some home games, boys. Got to win some home games. For all the work you've done on the road, now you got to hold serve.
And neither team looks as if they're the better team in the series. I mean, Denver rather, finally won a fourth quarter. After playing lousy, after a great game 1, playing lousy in the fourth quarter, getting beat up in the fourth quarter in game 2, Denver finally won a fourth quarter.
By 1.
Yeah.
So, right. The fact that it was basically a draw after the last 2 fourth quarters, mentally, that's a good thing because that's what I was, the Heat were down 14 after 3. And, normally you're like, well, this game's over. Well, okay. They were down 21 in game 1. They cut it to 9. They were down 8 in game 2. They had an 11-point lead at one point after being down 8. So I'm thinking, well, this ain't going to be easy, but based on what we've seen, this is doable. And then about 2.5 minutes into the fourth quarter, you realize, it's not happening tonight. So... Nuggets 2 wins away from their first ever title. And let's see if the Heat have something else up their sleeve tomorrow night.
I wish you were in here right now because, you watch Jimmy Butler post-game and he's stoic, professional, move on to the next game.
Right.
I'm looking over at Felipe right now. He is dejected. He's
crushed.
Looks a little sad. Combined with a little anger, and he's distraught. I mean, he literally looks as if he's a rookie in the league that doesn't know how to handle a game 3 loss right now. Or he realizes it's over, and I'm not sure which it is because I've watched him give up on his team before. We watched it happen a year ago.
Right. They lost game 5 at home against Boston in the conference finals, and he bailed on them.
Well, certainly it's not over.
See, you learned that. That's good. That's good.
Well, it's not over, but 2 30-point triple-doubles at home, one being a 30-20-10 game, first in NBA Finals history. At home, it's a little embarrassing.
Remember, Felipe, home court doesn't mean anything anymore.
I know.
You got to get over that.
But you want to know what happened the last time the Miami Heat hosted NBA Finals games? They were both blowouts for the opposition. That's right. 2014. The Spurs came into Miami games 3 and 4 and beat the socks out of them.
Felipe.
I was reminded of that last night, and it makes me unhappy.
Felipe, now you're sounding like a member of the media. Okay.
No,
I mean, hold on. Only members of the media, okay, remember things from 9 years ago and somehow relate them to a current series. That's when you have the athlete staring out at the media member who asked the question, like, what the hell does 2014 have to do with today?
And what does game 3 have to do with game 4? I mean,
right.
That is the one thing that I really enjoy about Jimmy Butler is that he has had the ability to let losses just roll off his shoulder and get ready for the next game. That's how you lead a team. That's what they do. It doesn't matter whether you lose the game by 15 or by 1. It makes no difference.
Well, that's part of the reason why I think we're going to win game 4.
Oh, here we go.
And Miami, and I don't think I sound like a member of the media, more as a Miami fan. I think that's my fan showing.
When you were quoting 2014, that was working Felipe media member into Felipe fan. That's all. When you're quoting 9 years ago, that's the media part of you. Now you used we, okay? You emotionally, you bounced back. You said we're going to win.
And you got angry with us.
Right.
For pointing out factual things. And that's okay. That's the fan.
Yes. Yeah, good. Good to have you back.
No heat garb on him whatsoever, for the record.
What?
Well, I'm wearing a Messi jersey.
Yeah,
so
see, he's already flipped the switch.
Still Miami. Still Miami, might I add.
Unbelievable. I mean, honestly, can we make any more South Florida? I mean, what more is possible? I'm telling you, the Dolphins are going to the damn Super Bowl. Seriously, if it's South Florida sports, amazing stuff is going to happen. I mean, in the last, 10 weeks, FAU and the Canes to the Final Four, the Panthers and the Heat to the finals, the Marlins are unstoppable.
They can't lose.
I mean, they're playing in the witness protection program, but they're unstoppable. And obviously, Tua's going to stay healthy, and Tyreek Hill's going to score 37 touchdowns.
The icing on the cake would be if Canes football can have a pulse.
Oh, I mean, and now Messi, of all the places he could play in the world. I mean, it's a big world. And in soccer, you can play anywhere. And he was offered half the world in currency by the Saudis. And he said, nah, I'm going to Miami. I want a different lifestyle.
What do you know about Apple?
Listen, I've got, 74 million people follow me on Twitter. Can you send out a couple tweets about Apple Plus? Just get people to sign up. The more they do, the more money we make. Honey, we're going to Miami. I do love his reasoning, though. He basically said, I'm 35. I've been going hard for over 20 years. I want a different lifestyle. Kind of like, listen, this is the MLS. I mean, I can practice twice a week and destroy people in the MLS. I mean, come on. Beckham's the owner. He knows. He gets it. Love the fact he said it out loud. We haven't even worked out all the details yet. I'm just coming to Miami. My people will work it out.
And it could be a great Miami, South Florida run with no championships. I mean, that's how it's lining up right now.
But it would be awesome at the same time.
Exactly. And I think you got to slow down on the Dolphins Super Bowl, though.
I know. That's a little too far. How about make the playoffs, win a game?
And I was even going to let you have them lose the AFC Championship.
Oh, okay. So you're splitting the difference there. But, I mean, you do know the last time the Dolphins won a playoff game, Bill Clinton was president.
And I wasn't alive.
Exactly. I'll tell you what. It's good that Felipe missed the Jay Fiedler years. It is. He doesn't need that in his memory bank. Ricky Williams waking up one day saying, you know what, I'm going to follow Lenny Kravitz on tour and smoke weed for the next 2 years. It's good. He doesn't need that in his memory bank.
Miller and Moulton. Terrific show lined up for you again today. Lining them up, knocking them down. Bob Harig will join us to talk some golf on the show. Pat Kirwan to talk the National Football League. David Dwork to get us ready for Game 3 of the Panthers. And Freddie Sappin, who qualified for the U.S. Open with his mom on the bag, will join us in the bonus hour. It's Miller and Moulton. The starting five is 25 minutes away. Good morning, and thanks for joining us right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Thank you, Samuel Joel. But yes, I post an anniversary picture every year. So that's the only time that I show the stash.
Yeah, happy anniversary, David.
Well, thanks, man. You're 11 this year, right?
I will get to 11 in November, yes.
Went for a walk the other day. Julie was asking me. By the way, my wife has trouble remembering how many years it is for us. She's a year off on my birthday and our anniversary. And she's always like a year short too. It's kind of like, come on, give us some credit here. No, that was the Susquehanna River behind us in Owego, New York, in the Southern Tier. That was just off to the side of the place where we were having our reception. So we took pictures with trees and the river behind us.
Oh my gosh, David, I thought of you. Grimace is taking over all of McDonald's social media right now.
Oh, really?
And they're making a Grimace meal, I think.
A Grimace meal?
So the big fella is back.
Nothing wrong with the return of the big fellas.
I don't think it took the wind out of it. It just shows Rory's a company guy.
Although Although he does hate LIV, and I mean I hate LIV.
Right.
Wait,
Okay.
how did that Rory presser go? I missed it. I guess we'll talk about
He towed the company line.
Of course.
Although he did show genuine disgust towards LIV and to the players who made the jump. He's like, we ain't letting them right back in.
Yep.
I'll tell you that right now.
You want to bet?
Well,
Rory, do you want to bet?
I actually,
the Saudis run your tour now. They own you.
I don't know that what's it called? The PIF. I don't know that the PIF are, loyal to the golfers though. I think the PIF would, 3 months, 6 months. I think they would sell the golfers down the river for this. They use them. They got what they wanted. I think Monahan has to die on this hill if he wants to keep his job. Adam, no need to attack the Irish. Where'd that come from?
It's a purple shake. The Grimace meal is a purple shake.
That's it? Just a shake?
No.
Come on, how about some fries there, big fella?
A Big Mac or a 10-piece, a medium fry, and a purple shake. Now, I don't know if it's a, what it doesn't say the flavor of the purple shake. It's a milkshake. Is it just purple dye?
Would have to be, right? I mean, otherwise the purple's grape. Who is grape shake?
Right.
Well, brown chicken, he did say he felt like a sacrificial lamb.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Nuggets take care of the Heat last night by 15. They're up 2-1. Panthers try to get back in the Stanley Cup Finals, needing a win tonight against Vegas at home to make it 2-1. Messi's going to Miami. Hey, can we talk about this for a little bit? When Beckham went to L.A., what was that, 06, 07, around there?
Sounds about right. I don't know the exact year.
First off, let's state the obvious. Beckham, as great as he was never Messi. Now, he was popular, but not even Messi popular. I mean, so there's nothing about Beckham, okay, that's Messi.
He could certainly bend it.
Right.
Like Beckham.
But it made an impact. It did. And he ended up going to a good team. And a few more people started going, oh, wow, MLS, maybe for the first time, I'll pay attention to this soccer league. That's kind of what it felt like, Mark, that Beckham's impact on the MLS. It's kind of like, oh, I guess. I mean, I could watch this. He's got Landon Donovan on his team as well. I mean, they're good, exciting. Okay. But Messi's a whole different level. I mean, this is, for those of us old enough to remember, this is Pele coming to play for the New York Cosmos. I mean, at about the same point in his career. And Pele had led Brazil to 2 World Cup titles, and Messi finally delivered the World Cup for his host nation, and he's done everything he can do in the sport. But think about, Mark, what's going to take place in that sport in this country in the next 3 to 4 years.
In this country?
Yeah, in this country.
Okay. I want you to elaborate on in this country because I have my own theories on this.
All right. Here's what I think could happen for the sport. First off, I know we're going to have a World Cup in 3 years. Secondly, it looks like right now, unless U.S. soccer screws it up, which goodness knows they are capable of doing, we're going to put the best team on the pitch we've ever put, the most talented team. Now, I don't know if they can replicate the one team that went all the way to the quarterfinals in, I think it was 2002. Okay, but it looks like we are going to put the most talented team that we've ever put on the pitch in 2026 while hosting the World Cup. And then for the 3 years leading up to it, Messi's going to be playing in the U.S. Soccer League, if you will. And maybe some people will pay attention to it. And it will get pub and ink and what have you. I do think we have 3 forces, Mark, at work at the same time over the next 3 to 4 years because Messi signed a 4-year deal. So he will be here through the World Cup.
All right. You're combining the 3 things, and I'm guessing, and I don't know because you didn't finish really to me, that the 3 things, are they going to help MLS long-term? Because I look at the MLS as a really, really good minor league. It's good in the markets that it's in and nowhere else. That people in Miami are going to be stoked to see Messi. When he goes and plays Columbus, Columbus will probably sell out for that game. But I don't think that draws one. I don't think that increases the MLS brand. I think it may increase soccer and people watching more Premier League. Because the one thing I've noticed based on ratings is that we are addicted to watching the best. And while Messi will be a draw every time he plays a city, I don't think it causes the nation to start watching Miami soccer matches. I don't think it does at all. I think this is a great get for Miami. It will help that soccer club immensely, obviously. And could make them one of the more popular teams really quickly. Moment he leaves, no one will go to Miami games anymore because that's the way Miami fans are. They need a star there, and that's great for them. But I just look at this as a gigantic minor league. And the World Cup, we're all in. And the ratings show it. Doesn't even matter who's in the final. We'll watch a World Cup final. We're in for championship games with consequence. And the U.S. numbers in the World Cup will be tremendous because everything you said is absolutely true. It's the best team that we will ever have put on the pitch for a soccer match. But I don't know, as bullish as I was on the MLS 5 years ago, I would have sold, if I had it, I would have probably already sold my team.
Really? So you've cashed out?
Yes.
You made a fortune, by the way. Congratulations. You crushed it. So you're going to let some sap like me be in it for the long haul?
Yes. Because the Apple deal has been terrible for this league, by the way.
Well, there's no doubt. And you know what? Sometimes, okay, we're right. Sometimes we're right. So the word was kind of breaking during the show yesterday. You know, at this time of the show yesterday, it was, they're reporting Messi's narrowed it down to return into Barcelona or finally taking Miami up on their big offer. And most of us thought he'd go back to Barcelona. Most of the people covering the story thought he would go back to Barcelona. And by midway, most of the way through the show, he chose Miami. It was like, I'll be damned. Seriously? So, I don't know. I'm big into, forces aligning sometimes. But we had said, listen, this Messi deal, the only way this Messi deal is going down is Apple's got to be paying for this. I mean, this is serious coin here. I mean, the MLS doesn't have this kind of coin to throw around. The rest of the franchises, by the way, aren't going to let them throw this kind of franchise around. 16 years ago for Beckham's one thing. League's trying to get off the ground. Now you got 24 franchises who are going to go, hell no. Not chipping in a few million so Messi can beat me. No. But apparently Apple and Adidas are paying this deal. And Beckham's just like, hey, when does the plane land? I want to make sure we're there to pick them up.
Curious why Adidas thinks this is a smart move. I get Apple.
I just wonder, if you're the official whatever, don't you have to go all in on this? Number one. And number two, aren't you? I think it also plays into what do we have in 3 years in this country? We have the World Cup. If you're going to go in on soccer and you're an advertiser, the next 3 years is the time to do it. And then if you want to run for the hills, run for the hills.
Good on you getting an Iron Maiden reference in this early in the show, even though you didn't know that you really were doing it. But I appreciate it.
Now, come on. I mean, today's a retro day for me. You know that. All right. Today's my anniversary. I'm living 27.
Wow.
I know.
Does your wife know it's that many?
Well, she thinks it's at least 25. Okay. She's not quite sure. 25, 26, 28. Usually she's a year short. All right. She's got me a year older than I am, and she's got us together for a year less.
Flip that, lady. Take a year off of your husband's age, add a year onto your anniversary. Come on now.
I tell her all the time, if you'd let me do something with this gray hair, you'd get it right. But for those, I've talked about having a mustache in a former life. All right. Every June 8th, I post an anniversary picture. And I had a mustache when we got married. So if you've never gone to the David Moulton on Twitter, all right, you get to see the stash.
The starting five is next right here on the Florida Sports Network.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I would just touch it up, Johnny. That's all. I wouldn't go, the full court press where it's obvious. I would just touch it up. Every time I get my hair cut, it looks like I've touched up my hair because everything that gets cut is white. And there actually is some dark that remains. Well, it's usually, you can just, sign up on your TV. Usually it's under apps and you just click on it and you just sign up for it, right? Apple?
I believe so.
Yeah.
That is probably one of the biggest things that has ever happened to Apple TV Plus. This messy deal.
You think so?
Absolutely.
You think so? Put
Are
it
you
this way.
getting it? You're paying for the service?
Maybe. I mean, if it gets me into MLS, then
Well,
yes.
it's the only way it's getting you to MLS.
Yeah,
Right.
the MLS is exclusively on Apple Plus there.
Yeah.
Well, because that's what, some of us are curious about.
It's
Is
so funny.
Messi coming to the MLS enough to get you to pay for the MLS?
Not in a million years.
So funny that he goes from playing in the most prestigious sports venues in the history of the world, Camp Nou and Parc des Princes, to Drive Pink Stadium.
Hello.
There you go.
I was a little worried about my Reds bet when they were down 6-1 early.
Yeah, but fortunately they were facing Noah Syndergaard, so
$50 ambient heat for the season.
$50 for the season is not bad.
apparently they're in last place.
Yeah,
They fired their coach a few days ago.
they're not that great. But if he was going anywhere, it was Miami. Closest city in America to Argentina or Spain or Barca specifically.
Spitz, is that their record? Because you got to remember, I'm a hockey guy. That looks like 5 wins, no losses, 11 ties.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour, Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. We've got a jam-packed show for you. We'll head north of the border to Toronto. Bob Harig is there covering the Canadian Open. Nobody really cares about that. It's everything leading up to it. This whole PGA Tour LIV thing. I don't know if you heard, but they're joining forces after one side declared the other side Satan for the last year and a half. So it's ruffled a few feathers. We'll talk to Bob about it coming up 1 hour from now. Pat Kirwan in the 8 o'clock hour. David Dwork, will the Panthers get back in the Stanley Cup Finals, or is this sucker over? He'll join us 2 hours from now. And the guy who had his mom on the bag to qualify for the U.S. Open on Monday, Frankie Sappin's going to join us. So there, to start off our bonus hour at 9 o'clock. Right now, it's time for
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
Denver took control of Game 3 coming out of the halftime locker room. Leading by 5 at the half, they scored the first few points of the second half and basically stiff-armed Miami the rest of the way. Led by 14 after 3 and won by 15. 109-94. Denver's big two of Jokic and Murray. Well, the big fella had 32 points, 21 rebounds, 10 assists. Murray had 34 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. That's right, 2 triple-doubles from the 2 best players. Jokic's 30-20-10 triple-double. First time anybody's done that in the finals. Ever. Denver shot 51% for the game, won the battle of the boards by 25, won the points in the paint by 26. You got to dig really deep to find anything to hang your hat on here if you're the Heat. It's kind of what we're saying. Jimmy Butler did have 28. Bam with 22 and 17, although the stat line looked a little better than the performance. Caleb Martin, the only other Heat player in double figures, and he had 10. Ouch. Udonis Haslem did get in the game with 30 seconds to go.
Unbelievable. I lost a bet because of that.
Oldest player in NBA Finals history because he turns 43 tomorrow.
And I'll pay on this bet, but it's a joke.
Well,
Because
you know what?
You thought he was going to play.
Yes, I actually will not accept the winnings on this bet. Because what I said was at some point in the series, they're going to throw so many different looks at the big fella that I even think they'll throw Haslem in there for a minute and a half just to pick up a couple fouls and, mix things up. They didn't do that. They put him in with 30 seconds to go when they had gotten their butts kicked.
I liked where your head was at with that prediction, but you're still crazy for that. Sorry.
I'm confused. By the way, Game 4 tomorrow for the Heat and the Nuggets. So did Chris Paul get released or not? The stories came out all afternoon. The Suns moved on from Chris Paul. Then, what's his face from ESPN there, Woj, he comes out last night and goes, well, they haven't released him yet. The Suns have pulled him aside and basically said, if you want to stay here, we got to renegotiate this deal. We're not going to pay you $30.8 million to play with us this year. Here's the thing. Chris Paul gets $15.8 million from the Suns if they cut him. And then if he can go get 15 or more million from somebody else, he gets his money. So Chris Paul has to make a decision, basically. Can I find a place where I have a better chance of winning than Phoenix? Or am I going to have to grit my teeth and take a little bit less money to play one more year in the Valley of the Sun? Chris Paul's 38, by the way. He's already played 18 years in the association. He is tight with LeBron. If you're wondering where it is he could go, I'm just saying. Not only that, he plays at the same pace that LeBron likes to play at. Slow.
Old school.
Game 3 tonight, Stanley Cup Finals. Vegas won the first 2 games at home. Series shifts to sunrise. You have to say that slowly and carefully, by the way. Series shifts to sunrise. 8 o'clock TNT. Panthers actually a slight favorite. Surprised. Vegas 6-2 on the road. Panthers 4-3 at home. Soccer, you may have heard. 35-year-old Lionel Messi. He's going to the MLS, and specifically Miami. It's the team owned by David Beckham. It'll happen after his official departure from PSG. He has an option mark for part ownership in the franchise if he wants it. The MLS is not chipping in. This is not like the deal that they did for Beckham 16 years ago. But Apple TV and Adidas are kicking in a big way. Baseball. So the Rays blew a ninth inning lead. They sent Randy Arozarena to the plate in the ninth. He had a walk-off. 2-1 Tampa Bay. They've won 5 in a row over the Twins. The Marlins have won 6 in a row. There was about 183 people there, but 6-1 over Kansas City. Mark, they moved that game up to 6-10, and we wondered, would they get that game over with before the NBA Finals started at 8:30?
Darn right they did.
The Marlins had 2 3-run innings, and otherwise there's a bunch of zeros on the board. So the game took 2 hours and 3 minutes. I text Mark that fact. He texted me back. Yeah, I know. I just watched it. Now I'm flipping over the NBA pregame. I'll still get 20 minutes. They didn't play in New York and Philadelphia because of the Canadian wildfires and the fact that the Northeast yesterday looked like it had been a victim of a nuclear event. I mean, honestly, I've seen less orange on Mars than there was in the Northeast yesterday.
You ever seen Blade Runner 2049? Look it up.
So they're going to try to play 2 today in New York with the White Sox. The A's scored 7 in the first. They won 2 in a row on the road.
That's two-game winning streaks in like 10 days. I mean, break this team up, David.
9-5 over Pittsburgh. You combine that with Milwaukee beating Baltimore 10-2, and the Brewers' lead is a game and a half in the Central, but also the Orioles now. Remember when they were within 3? Yeah, the Rays' lead is 6.5 now in the AL East. Thank you very much. Juan Soto might be getting his act together. He had 5 hits yesterday. And speaking of his act together, Gary Sanchez has been with the Padres like a week. He's already got 4 homers. Homered again yesterday. It's 10-3 San Diego over Seattle. Mark, my Diamondbacks are crushing it. Should I start spending these winnings already? Is this bet over?
This thing is over.
The Diamonds over-under was 74.5, and needless to say, I went with over. They have a 2-game lead in the National League West right now on June 8th. They beat Washington 6-2, while the Dodgers lost to the Reds 8-6. Will Benson with a walk-off 2-run homer. That was his first ever home run in the majors. But the hotshot prospect, De La Cruz, he homered earlier in the game. That one's still traveling. Apparently, it's one of the 7 hardest hit balls in like the last 25 years, according to, the computers and all that. The Mets and the Braves played in Atlanta.
What happened, David?
The Braves won.
Why?
Because they're the Braves and the other team is the Mets. And the game was in Atlanta, if you needed any doubt. Scherzer blew a 4-1 lead in the middle innings at one night after the Mets blew a 4-1 lead the game before in the 6th. It's funny how that works out. Michael Harris hit a 2-run homer in the 8th. Atlanta won at 7-5. Alec Burleson solo homer in the 8th for the Cardinals. They edged Texas 1-0. Toronto's won 6 of 7. They beat Houston 3-2. Red Sox made 3 errors and a 5-2 loss to Cleveland. San Francisco rallied 3 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th, beat Colorado 5-4. Angels scored 4 in the 6th. Trout hit his 14th homer. LA 6-2 over the Cubs. College World Series softball, Florida State held to just 2 hits. They had a couple opportunities early in the game. When they didn't convert, Oklahoma said, "We'll take it from here, thank you." 5-0 Sooners in a game that was delayed twice for over a couple hours by rain. Oklahoma's won 52 in a row. It's a best 2 of 3. They'll play again at 8 o'clock tonight on ESPN. Florida State needs to win to play again tomorrow. In golf, the Canadian Open gets underway today. Yeah, that's not the big story. Big story was Rory McIlroy had a presser. See, he had to because he was the defending champion. He said a few things at the presser. One, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't the defending champion and I had to do this. 2, I hate LIV. I repeat, I hate LIV. And I want it eliminated. He does not want it to be a concurrent parallel tour. He wants it dissolved. He also wants the players who defected severely punished. He does not want them to be able to just walk back in early 2024 onto the PGA Tour. He said they need to be punished.
For getting you all that money, Rory? What do you need to be punished for? All they did was hand you tens of millions of dollars, Rory.
I know. I
you got so fat and rich off of this. What the hell are you bitching about?
Twice, actually. Remember, they changed all the money this year because of them, and now they're going to change it going forward because of them. Just listen, man. Just go home, okay? Spend some time with the wife and kid. I don't know. Work it out. He also admitted, Mark, that, quote, I feel a bit like a sacrificial lamb, unquote, as to my actions and how now the tour is flipped, over the last year, that basically he was thrown out there for slaughter.
And he did point out that the PIF and the LIV are very different things.
Right. Yeah.
That's not the same. We didn't do a deal with Liv. There's no merger.
No. It's not Liv. It's PIF. It's PIF. It's not LIV. Okay, so the vowel's the same, but it's not the same.
I mean, it's the same money. It's the same people, but it's not the same.
It's not the same. French Open, the last American left standing, Coco Gauff, wasn't standing for long yesterday. She got whacked in straight sets by Swiatek, the top seed in the quarters. Hussein Khosrow Ali Vasiri died yesterday at the age of 81. You may know him as the Iron Sheik.
Loved me some Iron Sheik.
Did you?
Yeah.
So him against Hogan? Him against Slaughter?
Him against Slaughter was great.
That was an epic match. They still that carries today if they were to show that match. So the Iron Sheik passed away at 81. The Jaguars released their, quote, stadium of the future, unquote, vision yesterday. Here's what you want to know. They want to reduce the size of the stadium to 62,000 seats, although for the Florida-Georgia game, we can get 71.5. Right now, it's about a 70,000 seat stadium, and for Florida-Georgia, they can get to about 80. A shaded canopy, Mark. It reduces heat by 70%. Concourses are going to be 4 times wider than they are currently. Going to develop the area around the stadium, which does need it. Stadium cost, just the stadium, about $1.4 billion. The area around it, about $600 million. You add it up, $2 billion. Let's go 50-50 on it. That's what the Jags are proposing.
The renderings make it kind of look like SoFi.
Yes. No. It looked beautiful. They're also going to make 15 little meet and greets in and around Jacksonville over the next 3 weeks to answer people's questions, concerns, that sort of deal. And the news that was released a couple of weeks ago, they said, hey, there's 2 ways we can do this. We can leave town for 2 years in 26 and 27 and play in Gainesville, Orlando, wherever. Or if you want to keep us here and we work on this stadium piece by piece, it'll take twice as much time and cost $200 million more. You guys decide, let us know. Their lease expires at the end of the decade. DeAndre Hopkins, by the way, visited the Tennessee Titans yesterday. So there. The head coach and the offensive coordinator there, he played for in Houston. they were in different roles there, but he's familiar with them. And that was
the starting five every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
So you had a lot going on.
Jacksonville Stadium thing's fascinating to me because if they leave the London part of it, I just think the whole thing is wild how it'll play out. Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening. Florida Sports Network.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps. Have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today.
Have a soda and a smile.
Visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
By the way, somebody in the Twitch chat room asked, Magic stat line was 42 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists. That famous Game 6 against Philly as a rookie in 1980. 42, 15, and 7. Played 47 minutes.
You talking about Magic?
Yeah.
Look, all I'm saying is Heat fans old enough to remember games 3 and 4 of the 2014 finals. And remember how embarrassing it was to get blown out at home like that. And I remember it because it killed me. Because that was the end. I mean, it was different because that was the end of the LeBron era, and obviously it was a question mark the whole year. But it was painful. Plus, we've lost our last 3 home games.
Yes, they did, DC. $1.5 billion, no roof.
Unreal.
And the mayor of Chicago thinks that there's a chance to keep him at Soldier Field.
Right.
And you don't think Arlington Heights is going to reduce the tax number that they gave the Bears?
Especially since the Bears met with another community last week. Basically, their message to Arlington Heights. Some mayor, I don't know, some suburbs like, we'll build you a stadium.
I'd love for them to renovate Soldier Field.
No, absolutely. They already did that. They already did that. They did a horrible job. Nobody in Chicago likes the renovation. It's the smallest stadium in the league. Okay. They did not do a good job. It looks like a spaceship.
It does look weird. The bowl inside of a bowl almost. But can you put a roof on it or no?
No.
No, doesn't make a difference.
Now, the thing they're talking about building in Arlington Heights, that would have a roof. That would host Final Fours and national championship games and all that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Ten seconds.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Thursday. Thanks so much for being with us. Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Bob Harig, who covers golf for Sports Illustrated. He will join us coming up in about 35 minutes' time. Pat Kirwan, 1 hour from now, to talk all things NFL. We mentioned a bunch of things in our first hour. Denver taking Miami and Heismaning them last night, jumping out to a lead in the third quarter and stiff-arming them, 109-94. Jokic with a historic triple-double. Nobody had ever gone 30-20-10 in the finals before. He went 32-21-10. Jamal Murray said, hold my beer. He went 34-10-10. Nuggets shot 51%, out-rebounded the Heat by 25. Heat shot 37%. You get the idea. They got outplayed. They got beat. Game 4 tomorrow.
Killed on the glass and didn't shoot the ball very well. Tough night for the Heat.
But besides that, I mean, honestly, see, in game 1, they had the fourth quarter. They could hang their hat on. You know, I got to admit, you got to dig deep to find something in this game to hold your hat on.
I don't know what it is other than we'll go back to every coach's favorite term. This is a really resilient group, David, and they'll rebound from this. Just
that's right.
Keep your resiliency levels high for this because we'll hear that a lot over the course of the next 48 hours.
We'll just put this one behind us and we'll play better. We'll shoot the ball better. We won't shoot 37% again. Hope not. Hope not. 109-94, Denver. Game 3 Stanley Cup Finals tonight. It's sunrise. You know, this is the beginning of a 4-night stretch. NBA Finals Wednesday, Friday. Stanley Cup Finals Thursday, Saturday, all in South Florida. It's a pretty good run. Thank you very much. Panthers down 2-0. Needless to say, they need a win. Only one team's ever fallen behind 3-0 in the finals, and come back to win. And that was during World War II. Lionel Messi is going to play in the MLS. He's going to play in Miami. What in the wide world of sports is going on here? Rays have won 5 in a row. Marlins have won 6 in a row. Rory McIlroy saying, I feel like a sacrificial lamb and I hate LIV. I repeat, I hate LIV. And those guys are not just walking back onto this tour, not on my tour. The hell they are. Hold on a second. I got to cash this check.
I want Phil Mickelson or Brooks. I want Brooks Koepka to be in Phil's group Thursday, or to be in Rory's group Thursday and Friday at the U.S. Open. I would make that happen. I'd put Bryson and Koepka with him for the first 2 days. You whiny little.
Yeah. So there. I'm not happy. But when asked specifically about Jay Monahan, he goes, no, he's a good guy. In 10 years, we'll look back and say this was really smart. But right now, I don't feel very good about it. Oh, okay. I can't. Why aren't you mad at him? He's the reason you feel like a sacrificial lamb. Why are you not mad at him? Unbelievable. Hey, we also mentioned the Jags releasing some, designs. This is what we want the new stadium to be and what have you. 2 things I just want to mention. Mark, I do think they're going to get it for this reason. Well, the biggest reason is because Jacksonville's got nothing besides the Jags. They got a bowl game in Florida, Georgia. But also, Mark, think about the timing of this. We've seen a lot of franchises ask for money when they're not good. What do the Jags have that they've never had before? They got a young, looks to be, star in the making quarterback. What does it appear that the Jags are going to be for the next few years?
Well, the best team in their division, that's for sure.
Right. So when you're asking for $1 billion from the city and county over 20 years, doesn't it help your cause if you're winning? If you're playing exciting ball, if you're hosting playoff games, don't you think that helps you? It's real easy for politicians to say no to the 4-13 Jags. Urban Meyer's Jags ain't getting a dime. Doug Peterson, Trevor Lawrence's Jags. What color do you want the concourse painted, sir?
Just think it's going to be wild if they leave for 2 years, where it's a combination. And I could see them doing a combination of Gainesville, Orlando. Maybe they pick one. I'd pick both for the record.
And I think they will, by the way.
And then London.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They'll play home games at 3 different places. They save $200 million, by the way, if they do it that way. If they just say, hey, listen, we're leaving for 2 years. The Florida-Georgia game is going to be on campus for 2 years, 26, 27, just like 94 and 95. We had to shut the stadium down, make it repairs to bring the Jags here. And then come 2028, got a new stadium, the whole deal. I'll give the Jags credit. Mark, obviously, they made a big pitch yesterday. They said, hey, we'll host college football playoff games if you give us a stadium. Okay, I could see that. I don't see them getting the championship game, but I could actually see them getting some playoff games. Yeah, I could.
Really?
I could.
Yes. I couldn't.
I could.
You have an airport that's damn near impossible to get to.
Not the greatest. That is for sure. But you can get there through Atlanta, and everybody can get to Atlanta. But they were smart. They didn't say, and hey, we'll probably get another Super Bowl.
Well, that ain't happening.
No. They were at least smart enough to draw the line there and realize, well, that ain't happening.
And I think a college football playoff game is a stretch.
Okay.
Because they'd have to buck up as a city for that too.
Well, but they've shown that they're willing to as a city. I mean, if you're willing to do it for Florida, Georgia, and I'd be willing to do it for a college playoff game also. So that's all that's involved in that proposal yesterday. But I do think their timing is really good.
I agree with you 100%. Much like you said, the timing of Messi coming to the MLS is really good for American soccer. I challenge you to this question, David. We never did get the poll question up that I wanted yesterday with Live Golf. We had some other questions up there, and that's fine. But just with Messi coming to MLS, will you watch more, the same, and I don't even want to put less? Will you watch more MLS soccer? Is this going to cause you to go to games, to watch it, to buy the Apple TV package? I'm fascinated to hear what our audience thinks, because while I think this is great, and it probably will get me to a Miami game. I would like to go see the greatest soccer player, perhaps who ever lived, play. That's worth going to a game. I can tell you I won't watch a second on television.
Okay.
Ever.
Now,
MLS is not on my radar from a television. There's too much to watch.
Do you have Apple TV now?
No.
Okay. Because for those that don't know, the MLS signed an exclusive, I think it's a 10-year deal, in which you can only get their matches on Apple TV. So obviously, you got to have Apple TV. You have to start there. So how many of you have it? At least then it's an option. But obviously, Apple TV, since they're help financing this deal, they think Messi is going to get people to, at least for a few months a year, spend, what is it, $4.99?
It's $50 for the year, $14.99 a month.
Because it is on Apple TV Plus, right? I think it's on Plus. So, is Messi someone you would pay to see? Literally.
I would pay to go to a game. I would go see him once. I wouldn't watch it on television. I mean,
I'm trying to think, am I going to pay for this? Because I will say, and I was a Ronaldo guy over Messi until this World Cup. His performance in this World Cup was inspiring to watch. It really was.
And David, I watch Premier League games on Saturday and Sunday.
I know.
But that's the best league in the world.
Right.
I'm not interested in watching fifth-tier soccer.
Well, and Messi did say in this announcement, okay, he's looking forward to ratcheting it down a little bit. That's why I went to Miami. I mean, he all but said, listen, I'll go out there. I'll play about 70, 80%.
Well, here's the thing. He's not past his prime because a few months ago, he just won the World Cup. And,
he is most certainly at 35 past
he was a
his prime.
top 2 goal scorer in the World Cup, but that doesn't matter. If he dominates in the MLS, I think that's worth watching. And I will certainly buy it.
Okay, so
I would like to watch the greatest soccer player dominate for a Miami team.
Okay.
Sold.
But you're going to have to, and not just you, everyone out there who goes, oh, wow, Messi. This isn't like, hey, I'll turn on Fox when they play. No, those days are over. You got to pay for it on Apple TV or Apple TV Plus. So I think that should be the poll question. Are you going to pay? And we got to put a dollar sign. Are you going to pay to watch Messi play in the MLS at Inter Miami? By the way, why are they CF? And everybody's FC. Why are they Inter Miami CF? What does a center fielder have to do with Beckham's franchise?
And what's his batting average?
Right. I don't get it. No wonder you're in last place. You need to be an FC. You're a football club. This isn't club football. Although with the way you're playing, apparently it is. Come on now. Get it together. In fact, Mark, rumor has it that's the last thing in the negotiations. Messi's like, listen, I'll come there, but you got to change the damn name. I'm not going to play for a CF. I'm not playing center field. Got it?
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Messi is the GOAT, Mario. I can't wait. Well, Jake, the next World Cup is going to be in America, North America. So you have the chance. Over the summer, DC. Heidi, they play in Fort Lauderdale at Drive Pink Stadium. Now, there are developments for a new stadium located right next to Miami International Airport on a golf course known as Mel Reese. They bought the land and they're going to tear up the golf course and build an entire complex almost there, surrounded by a really beautiful stadium. But I don't even know if they've broken ground yet, because I think Mel Reese is still there.
Well, haven't they had trouble getting the approval? Or did they get it?
I thought they got it.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'm not the expert on this. But that was like a thing when I was in high school. It's been so long that they've been trying to get that to happen. Yeah, Hops, they're only like 4 or 5 years old. Actually. Yeah, they're 5 years old. Get ready to spend big money.
So look at Empire. I've never watched a single full MLS game. I'm going to go. I'm buying Apple TV. I'm buying gear. I'm all in. Wow.
That's amazing.
The Messi effect.
That's what Apple and Adidas want to hear, man.
I mean, tickets to what potentially could be his first home game in Miami costs more than the cheapest NBA Finals ticket. I mean, that's unbelievable. He hasn't even made a statement that he's joining the team, and the prices have already changed that drastically. A week ago, the cheapest ticket to the July 21st Inter-Miami matchup was $29. It's now like $460 something. What the hell?
That's great.
It's the Messi effect. It's that simple.
Tell you what, we might have to go on the road to see him.
Yeah.
It may cost too much to ever see him in Miami.
And even then, it'll still cost.
Yeah, but it won't cost Miami cost.
True.
Seriously, I'll bet you could fly round trip to Atlanta, go see him play there and for less.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes after the hour. Bob Harig in a little more than 15 minutes time. He covers golf for a living. Anything going on? PGA Tour, LIV, anything? Talk to Bob if anything's happened this week. Coming up in a little more than 15 minutes time. Pat Kirwan in 40 minutes. Talk all things NFL. We'll preview Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals with David Dwork in a little more than an hour. Hey, I came to a realization yesterday. And I'm wondering, Mark, if you were ever where I was or if you were always just cooler. But I came to the realization that I'm not going to be get off my lawn guy anymore in sports. And it's a combination of a few things. So Rosarena hits the walk-off.
Right. After a hell of a 5-4-3 double play. They give up the run, bases loaded. The Rays make a brilliant 5-4-3 double play to get out of the inning with the game still at 1-1.
And then Randy Rosarena does what Randy Rosarena does. And the Rays players race out of the dugout. Okay, we're going to have the home plate celebration. You know, he's going to jump on the plate and what have you. And did you see him?
Oh, yeah.
They all ran out and then assumed the pose, waiting for him. I just thought it was cool as hell. I just did. I said, you know what? If I was, you know, there was a time in which I would have beamed every one of you in the next game. I really would have. I would have had pitchers warming up constantly. So when my current guy got ejected, I could just bring in another one to hit the next guy.
So, with that being said, does Arozarena take one inside his first at bat today from the Twins? Because they do finish up at 1:00.
I don't think so. I don't. Also, did you see the walk-off in Cincinnati? I mean,
now that was a showboat right there.
I mean, that was,
man.
Reggie Jackson said, "Hey, dude, rein it in a little bit, will you?" I mean, Bond said, "Son, come on. It just, I know you're excited." Woo-wee.
I mean, just spitting right at the Dodgers bench.
And then he turns and looks at the Reds dugout and flexes, yells, and takes one step and takes the bat and slams it down. And then does a slow trot around the bases.
You know me with baseball. I love this stuff. I always have. From Reggie on, I mean, I've always been a fan of the showboating in baseball. And I hate the unwritten rules that we have to. How about striking him out instead of letting him hit a home run?
But a few things have happened here really in the last few days, which changed me. The story you told about your daughter, in which she sat down next to you and was like, "Hey, the Rays are on. I like the Rays." And you're like, "Really?" And she's like, "Yeah. Who's that guy that does the pose?
Who's the guy that holds his arms? I like him."
And I'm like, "Huh, really?" So, yeah, it upsets 57-year-old guy. But hell, you guys got me anyway. But it appeals to the 9-year-old girl. And maybe she'll pay attention to my sport. And who knows? Maybe she'll grow up, be a little bit of a baseball fan.
Well, Seth comes on the show every week, and he's talked about how his daughters got into the New Jersey Devils with him. I was so elated that my daughter actually had some interest in the Rays. I'm like, "Do you like the Rays?" She's like, "Yeah." I'll be damned. I like them a little more now because you like them.
Celebration bodes very well with modern sports. And it's not just in baseball. Think about football. Think about the touchdown celebrations. Think about how kids are hitting the gritty because of Justin Jefferson.
Unfortunately, the NFL does everything they can to take the fun and the celebration out of a touchdown. We, on this show, are of the belief that you score like 3 of them a game on average. You should be able to celebrate them. As long as you can get that extra point off for the next 40 seconds. For the first 39 seconds, do whatever the heck you want. You could have a conga line for all we care. But here's where I realized, you know what? I've actually lightened up a bit. I've been watching a little bit of the softball, which I always do. I mean, I don't watch it like your dad did. But I've actually watched a little Florida State. I've liked them. I was watching last night.
They gritty all over that dugout.
Well, nobody parties like a softball team during the softball.
No, they don't.
I mean, that's
it always was one of the appeals to my dad is how much fun they're having, sometimes even in a loss, how much fun they're having trying to rally and get back into it.
I mean, that's a bachelorette party without the stripper. I mean, that's what's going on in dugouts during softball games. They are having a time and a half.
That's the bachelorette party without the stripper.
I
did not know. I thought he was going to say that's the bachelorette party without Nashville. He went, that's the bachelorette party without the stripper.
I want to make sure I heard that correct.
No, you heard it correctly.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, think about it. They bring outfits, okay? They're bringing hats. They're bringing party favors, okay? I mean, literally, they don makeup during an inning. All of a sudden, rally caps. No, rally outfits. They start putting on in the dugout. I mean, it's a party.
It certainly is. I mean, Tennessee down 5-1 in the final inning, and they're going crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's
right. It's like the main event hasn't come on stage yet. It's like, wait a minute, you guys are getting your butt kicked. Woohoo!
To review, it's a bachelorette party without the stripper.
Right.
That came out of David Moulton's mouth, not Mark Miller's mouth. Just want that to be said for the record.
You're implying that maybe I'm going to get in trouble for that.
No. I'm not implying. I just thought it was a leap.
Okay.
Astonishing, for sure.
Just, if guys partied like that, I'd say it's a bachelor party without the stripper. But, I mean, the guys are posing, they're screaming and yelling a little bit. They're strutting their stuff. Women are just partying. And you know what? Okay, I'm in. You got me. You got me. You won me over. You broke me down. I'm no longer Clint Eastwood. You got me.
So don't get off my lawn. Stay on my lawn and do a dance while you're here.
Yes, light it on fire while you're at it. Woohoo!
Time now for our Clutch Vodka play of the day. That's Clutch with a K, and I'm getting the hold on 1 second 3 minutes before the break. This is the only time we come to him all day where he has to have something. And right as I'm starting to come to him, I get the hold on 1 second. He's had 2 hours to get this ready. 2 hours.
Oh, I just couldn't believe
to get a 30-second clip in. Felipe.
Oh, it's ready to go.
Are you ready?
I just couldn't believe the comment that David made earlier. It has me a little distraught right now.
That's what it was.
But Clutch play of the day, the Rays, Randy. We've been talking about it. Matt was hyped.
Grand throws, swinging a high drive in the air to right, moving back Kepler to the track, to the wall, gone! Randy Arozarena walks it off, and the Rays defeat the Twins 2-1.
Rays winning 5 straight. Clutch, Randy, come on now. They're on a roll. Best team in baseball.
Might take my daughter to a game and get tickets in Randy Land. He has his own section.
I know. How could you not go to Randy Land? Bring your board game. See if they'll let you play it during the game.
We'll bring Candyland and see if we can play Candyland in Randy Land.
Yeah.
That's our Clutch Vodka play of the day. That's Clutch with a K. Miller and Moulton. Bob Harig coming up in about 8 minutes. We'll talk more. Live, PGA Tour, Rory McIlroy.
Well, what's there to talk about?
That's a great question. Because we don't have any details yet.
No. Apparently, the reason they had the presser is somebody, I guess, found out and was going to leak it. And I guess both sides figured, oh, no, if it gets out, that we'll never be able to, there'll be a mutiny and it won't work. So that's why they did the joint presser.
Bob Harig to talk about that presser and Rory's response yesterday coming up next on Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network. Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka play of the day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN play of the day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the play of the day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka play of the day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka play of the day.
That's Clutch with a K.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6, and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Does Inter Miami sell out every game for the rest of the year when Messi joins? Or do they just sell out the first one?
Yes. Every single one.
Okay. How many does it hold?
Maybe like 35,000 people, 40,000 people. Drive, pink, stadium capacity. Oh, 18,000 people. Yeah, they're selling that thing out every single game. There will be an ass on every seat.
We'll see. I think at 18 they probably will.
But you realize that there's not a city in this country where Messi has a bigger following than Miami. I mean, the biggest American Messi fans are in Miami. All of them. Because there's a huge Barca following, and it's a third world country in a city. The first World Cup Golden Ball winner ever to play in the World Cup.
You mean to
play
play,
in MLS?
Yeah. Do you see that, Mark? Adam goes, it's a chance for you. Remember, you capitalized on Brady. Now you can capitalize on Messi.
There you go.
God, I would love to. I'd just like a job where I make enough money not have to worry about running side hustles to make money to pay for things. That's all I want. I'm running out of steam.
How'd you hit it yesterday?
Shitty.
Okay.
About done with the sport.
Man, does each sports goat just have a Florida phase?
Yeah, it's where everybody comes to retire when you're old.
It's crazy. I mean, what's next? Trout.
RCB never. This is, I mean, come on. You guys hear it. Unless there are advertisers that show up, this thing's it's on life support, man. We got one new sponsor starting in August. If I had 9 more, I'd feel really good about it. And since there's nobody selling it, nobody trying, I don't like our chances.
Hey, good morning, Bob. How are you? Felipe from Miller and Moulton.
Turn your mic off.
Bob's on hold.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Pat Kirwan will join us right after the top of the hour to talk all things NFL. David Dwork an hour from now to preview the Panthers and their chances in Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals tonight against Vegas. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Bob Harig, kind enough to join us once again. He not only covers golf for Sports Illustrated. Remember the book, Tiger and Phil, Golf's Most Fascinating Rivalry? It's only getting more fascinating by the day. It's out in paperback. It'd make a good Father's Day gift. Go to Amazon and other places and get it. Follow Bob on Twitter at Bob Harig, Harig. Bob, it's David and Mark. Thanks for your time. How are you?
Hi, good morning. How are you guys?
Well, we're doing fine. Listen, you may have to have a re-release of this book in a year. You may have to add a couple chapters and re-release this sucker, huh?
Exactly. Yep. I think I think it definitely needs an update because there's been a lot that's happened in the last year and a half that that only sort of makes the point about their rivalry even stronger, because clearly, obviously, they're on the opposite ends of this story, and obviously will continue to be.
Bob, just first off, your views on the whole merger and this coming out and being as secretive as it was, just your initial thoughts when you heard about this a couple of days ago.
The first thing I heard, I didn't believe. Somebody sent me a message and I was just, no way. And then within minutes, Jay Monahan, the tour commissioner, and Yasser, the governor of the PIF from Saudi Arabia, were on together on CNBC. That word spread pretty quickly. It's Yasser Al Rumayyan, who's an avid golfer and really sort of live is sort of his baby. He was very hands-on. But to see them together doing an interview, I mean, 2 months ago, Jay Monahan wouldn't have uttered his name. So I think for everybody who's involved in this and, either on the tour or live or covers this like I do, it was a complete shock. How did we get there so fast? Why did this happen? How did it happen? For the better part of a year, the tour has understandably been fighting a rival, but it also was pretty outspoken in its, denunciation of Saudi and its human rights abuses and bringing in the issue of 9/11. Which for anybody who hates this, it's certainly a legitimate topic, but it makes the tour look, hypocritical right now, because they were criticizing everybody who took part in this for taking the money, and now they're taking the money.
Bob, what do you think happened? I mean, Jay said that basically this all happened in the last 7 weeks. I mean, all of a sudden, did somebody do the books and say, Jay, we don't have any money, no, seriously. I mean, what is it? Was it the fear of a year from now, all this discovery? I mean, what is it that you think caused the PGA Tour to negotiate a deal with Bob? I mean, I'm trying not to be inappropriate here, but the PGA Tour basically for the last year and a half said, these guys are Satan. We don't want anything to do with it. And they just did a deal with Satan, in which Satan's funding the tour, and the guy I'm sitting next to at this presser gets final say on everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think your latter statement, there's going to be a lot of debate about who's in charge and who gets what and all that. But I think you touched on the main reasons why it's happening. While I don't think they said we don't have any money, what they feared is they were going to run their reserves down. Fighting this lawsuit is costing them, or has been costing them, quite a sum, as you can imagine. You got a lot of attorneys involved. There's been, it's constant behind the scenes. And it was, this lawsuit was not going to come to a conclusion anytime soon. If it played out, we were looking at the trial date getting kicked down the road even further. So that means I'm guessing there, even just last week, there were legal filings that denied a tour. They wanted to get a PIF appeal thrown out. I mean, like, so that just means that, okay, well, now we still have to hear the appeal, and everything drags along, right? And so it keeps, those are billable hours that become expensive. You mentioned the discovery. I think that's another part of it. I think there's some things that have come out, or they feared that would come out, that while even though it seemed like the rulings were going in the tour's favor, no, ultimately they could have won the lawsuit, but lost in other ways. Like if certain things came out, obviously the financial part of it, I think in retrospect, rushed to, sort of thwart Liv with this designated events idea. I think most of us think it's been great. It's brought the best players together more often. It's going to do the same thing next year. It's expensive. And we've learned recently that while the tour was going to help subsidize the purses of these elevated events this year, they were leaning on their sponsors to do it next year. So, a tournament, just, the closest one, the Arnold Palmer Invitational, was already a $12 million tournament. They went to $20 million this year. Well, where's that $8 million come from? Well, the tour was helping, I guess, MasterCard with that. Well, next year, MasterCard's on the hook for the $8 million extra. They're probably already paying $18 million for their sponsorship of a $12 million event. Now you got to throw in another $8 to get to $26 million. Well, it starts to become, sponsors start to look at that and wonder, why are we paying that much? We're already getting a decent field. And I think the tour was facing some pushback and fears of losing sponsors. And, so you add up all that. It's like, Rory kind of said it yesterday, instead of fighting them, we became partners with them. And, I got the sense that it hurt him to say that, but it also is sort of a reality that they face.
What do you think the path will be for live golfers to play on whatever this tour is named, the PGA Tour, whatever they want to do going forward? Because obviously Rory detests live golf. The rank and file players were not happy about this move because it's going to push them down even further. So how do you think the path will be for live golfers to return to whatever the tour is going to look like in 2024?
Yeah, my sense is that the tour as we know it will remain the same. What we don't know is this for-profit entity that is supposed to incorporate live in some way. Will live exist like we're seeing now with 54-hole events and 48-player fields and a team concept? That part has to be determined. And there is a wide range of thoughts on how that will go down. But the PGA Tour, the nonprofit PGA Tour side, will remain basically the same. I mean, they're weeks away from putting a schedule out. And I can't imagine that they're going to alter that drastically. Now, how will these guys come back? Rory said they're going to have to pay some penalty, and they're going to probably try to figure something out. In other words, if Brooks Koepka wants to play in the PGA Tour next year, having won a major and all that stuff, he's clearly exempt. But there's going to be some penalty extracted. Will there be a hefty fine? Will there be possibly a suspension? Will he not be able to partake in certain things? Will he maybe not be able to earn bonus money or what have you? Will they? There's all kinds of ways they can do that. I mean, Rory said it yesterday. They can't just let these guys come back without any repercussions. They broke the rules. No matter what you feel about the whole thing, and even if you think the tour's rules were possibly illegal, they were the rules, and they are in place. So there's going to have to be something there. Now, one thing I keep hearing from a lot of live folks is that there's a lot of those players that don't want to go back to the PGA Tour. They're perfectly content to do what they've been doing. Well, a lot of that's going to depend on if they keep doing it the same way. What if they pare that thing down to 6 events? You know, then it becomes, you know, it's a side thing. It's not the main thing. You know, a lot of those guys were perfectly fine with playing the 14 live events. The ones who resigned their membership actually were probably the smartest ones. Dustin Johnson did that right away. You know, he said, look, I got nothing against the PGA Tour. I'm just going to do this. And he was fine with it. And, you know, like he might not want to go back to the PGA Tour, but maybe he's going to be forced to because, you know, if he wants to keep playing in majors and things like that, you're going to need more than 6 or 4 or 8, however many of these tournaments they come up with. And look, there's a possibility that this has to take some time to play out, and next year that it just everything remains the same as it is now. I mean, I wonder how fast they can figure this all out and get it approved.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious about, you know, you got 125 guys with tour cards. What if the other, you know, 48 want to come back? I mean, you know, is there enough room? Never mind the 20 guys from the Corn Ferry who get promoted. I mean, I'm just curious as to what, you know, fields would look like on a PGA Tour event next year if the LIV guys wanted to come back and play at some point. You didn't talk to Greg Norman specifically, but you talked to somebody who was on the LIV conference call yesterday, and he made it sound in your story, Bob, as if it's business as usual for the LIV. We're already working on 2025.
Yeah. I mean, that was surprising, but that was the message he delivered. And now maybe maybe he has no other choice. You know, and I was told the day before that he might not be long for this, Norman. There's a lot of, it's all over the place, you know, and the views on that too are 180 degrees apart. Both Monahan and McIlroy sort of suggested that we won't see LIV in its current form next year. Like they don't think it'll exist this way. It'll be completely different. They almost were dismissive of it. Like, you know, yeah, we're going to take a look at this team thing. And they almost acted like, you know, trying to sound as if it's almost petty. Whereas Norman, and I've heard from other LIV people, they expect to keep going. They expect to keep the same format. I think they're going to try to build on their team concept. They now see opportunity for sponsorships because the barrier has been brought down. In other words, like if a company was leery of investing with LIV, well, the roadblocks to that in terms of any of the moral or political issues are gone. You know, I mean, the tour is now going to be taking money from the PIF. It's going to be a big sponsor. And so now there's opportunity if somebody was kind of hedging and sitting out, if they are going to continue to exist this way. So it's going to be fascinating kind of to see their next event. Fortunately or unfortunately for them, it's in Spain. So it won't be here, and it'll be consumed on tape delay unless they change something. And you know, I'm not sure we'll get the full effect, but it's clearly, you know, up in the air as to how that is going to look going forward.
Follow Bob Harig on Twitter at Bob Harig, Harig. He writes for Sports Illustrated covering golf, and he's author of the book Tiger and Phil, Golf's Most Fascinating Rivalry, out now in paperback. It would make a great Father's Day gift. Go to Amazon and other places and get it. Bob, we're always appreciative of your time and your insight. Safe travels these days, this week, next week, and hopefully we'll talk again soon.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
Bob Harig, kind enough to join us once again here on Miller and Moulton.
I know players pulled out, but I don't know the reasons why, because I happen to know who the 5th alternate was at the RBC, and he got in. He got in Tuesday before the meeting at 4. So guys up now. Could have been reasons behind it, but they went deep on the alternate list for the RBC.
Well, you know, if I was a tour player, I said I would have tried to engineer a boycott. Let's do our pro-am responsibilities, and no, we're out of here. So Jay Monahan, stick it up your no. No. See you at the U.S. Open. If I didn't qualify for the Open, I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Miller and Moulton. We switch gears from the links to the gridiron. Pat Kirwan, NFL Radio's moving the chains. He is on the on-deck circle and will join us coming up next on Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6, and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Hello, boys.
Hi, Pat.
How are you?
Good. How'd you enjoy the game last night?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was really, and the place was packed, sold out tomorrow. It was really good. Freaking goalies played great. They had so much pressure on them one time, Mark, that they got called twice for delay of game for flipping the puck out of the arena. Oh, it was great.
They're going to lose Friday and win Saturday.
Yeah, they need another money day.
Exactly.
Come on now. They're selling a lot of hot dogs and beers.
I'm guessing it was not $3 beers in the playoffs.
No, they were back to $8. $8, that's fine. The guys upstairs give me beer for free anyway. What the hell?
Well, you've taken care of enough of them.
I do. And, I just said, here's the same old $20 tip. Whether it's a $3 beer or an $8 beer, you're getting $20. Yep, it was fun. I saw a couple of guys that I knew from West Bay there, and a young guy that I befriended when he was working for the beach club at West Bay became a cop, and he just got assigned the beach patrol for the rest of his career. The guy was retiring. What a perfect fit for him. up and down the beach in his 4-wheel drive there. Boy, the golf thing, I was listening to you guys. Very fascinating, interesting world. And it sounds like everyone's still speculating as to what's really going to happen.
Well, because they announced no specifics. They just said, hi, we're partnering up. These guys are going to provide basically the money for the tour. It starts next year. That's all they announced.
Yeah. They don't have a council of players or anything that
they do.
No one
They're
knew
powerless.
about it?
They're powerless. And they, in the press release, it said, comma, pending PGA Tour board approval. But
is it true that Tiger turned down $700 million from the Lyft guys?
Well, Norman, I thought late last year said that, yeah, Tiger turned down a large sum. He was asked, did he turn down $1 billion? And Norman goes, no, it wasn't $1 billion.
Yeah. Someone that's serious told me it was $700 million. I don't know if he's accurate or not, but that's a lot of cash.
Especially since he wasn't going to be able to play much.
Yeah. What was he
that's the
waiting
other
for?
thing.
A resurgence of his career? Take the money. It's for the past. It's not for the future. I'll be back down next week too, Mark. Maybe I'll run into you back down for that Ryan Vesey hockey thing.
Okay.
I'll be around for like 4 days or so, 5 days maybe. How about New York? Oh my God.
You flying back Sunday after the game Saturday?
Yeah. Then I'll be back down Thursday with Brady. Do his thing with him. How about you have you guys seen the pictures of the air?
My goodness. Yeah.
It is.
They canceled the Yankee game yesterday and the Phillies game.
And they closed LaGuardia. They couldn't see the fucking runway.
15 seconds.
Well, the pictures between noon and 2. I mean, it looked like a nuclear event.
It did. When I was at Newark Airport,
Here
it
we
was
go.
already starting to set up bad.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the third and final hour of Miller and Moulton along the network in Lake City and surrounding areas, Tampa, St. Pete, Port Charlotte, and Venice. We're just halfway home in the 239. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. David Dwork to talk Florida Panthers before Game 3 tonight of the Stanley Cup Finals. He'll join us in a little more than 35 minutes time. Pat Kirwan, kind enough to join us right now. He of NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, weekday afternoons 3 to 7, part of CBS's NFL Today show. Pat joining us once again, courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, a dozen locations in between. Pinchers, because you can't fake fresh. Top of the morning to you. How are you?
I'm doing fine, fellas. Good to see you and hear your voices. And, it's kind of quieting down. It's June. Finally, we get a little time to relax, but there's always a couple of things out there. My first one is Hopkins. Why is he taking a visit to Tennessee? I'll answer it as I see it, because he doesn't have a deal. And he's looking for a deal, and he's shopping around like crazy. Does anyone think he was going to go visit Tennessee if he had Kansas City or Buffalo money? No. So it's interesting to see where his is and what's going on. And it's all because of Odell's $18 million. He thinks the standard for him probably is 19. So following that one, I don't think he'll ever go to Tennessee, but Tennessee throws $19 million at him. He might do it, but why would he go there? And why would they spend that money on him when they're getting ready to have a youth movement?
Well, that's the part of it I don't understand. I get going to see, he's got coaches that he knows there and he's going to visit, but Pat, who's got the money to sign him? I mean, that's the more important thing to me. If he wants $19 million, who's out there that's got that kind of money and also is good enough where he can chase a ring and get both?
Well, Cleveland has the money, and they have the quarterback, and I think they understand with what's going on with Cincinnati, they need more weapons. So if I was him, first off, I'd go to Kansas City. They don't have a number one receiver. Buffalo, maybe, but I think Cleveland would be my choice if I was him, and I think they have the money to do it.
Well, and the Chiefs always have that cap flexibility, right? Because of the Kelsey and Mahomes deals in which they could, turn them into signing bonuses overnight. So the Chiefs look like they have $4 to spend, and then if they just turn a couple of contracts into cash, all of a sudden they have 30 million, right?
Correct. And so they were brilliant when they did those deals, and hopefully Burrow decides that's the right thing to do in Cincinnati, something like that. So following Hopkins, there's I think other guys like Frank Clark. This is the time of year. If you went this far without signing, don't sign now. Wait for a major injury, and then you'll get your leverage back. Right now, the players don't have any leverage, and Hopkins is a good example of it.
Just curious, Kelsey made the comment that they're a dynasty. Do you consider the Chiefs a dynasty, Pat?
Yeah, because of the length of the contract for Mahomes. Now, history says, just like Peyton Manning and even Eli Manning, he'll probably overturn the receiver group 3 times in his career, meaning Kelsey will be replaced by Noah or somebody else, and then there'll be another one. But the quarterback, in the case of Mahomes, will last for basically three rosters, and that would cause a dynasty.
Do you like what the Bills have done here? Okay. I mean, I love the move earlier this week to get the pass rusher. I mean, the guy still got it, obviously. I don't care that he's 31. You have 9 or more sacks for 3 straight years. And hell, he was a teammate with Von Miller. They won a ring just 2 seasons ago. I thought that, some of the teams in the division had better off seasons than Buffalo. I think Buffalo's making a late push here to really solidify that roster.
They are. And the Floyd getting Leonard there, there were 3 choices I thought that you could go after: Ngakoue, Frank, and this kid, Floyd. A number of teams needed Floyd. It's amazing when you look at his numbers when he left Chicago and just went out to the Rams, how well he played. And you got to ask yourself, were the Bears playing him the wrong way, or was the kid just immature? But yes, I like what they're doing. Brandon Beane's really good at this, because they know last year when Von Miller went down that the other kids couldn't do it. And I still don't think they can do it. Now, if you keep them as backups and everything else, you'll be fine. You'll be happy to have 4 pass rushers. But they needed. Look, if you're going to be opposite Von Miller, you should be a 10-sack guy. You're going to get no roll of protection towards you. You're going to be singled up all the time. 10 sacks required.
Pat, with the Isaiah Rodgers news that came out and already the Washington and Detroit players before that, if you were in your old position in the front office of an NFL team right now, how worried would you be about the gambling situation that's going on seemingly inside of the league?
Yeah, I don't. Well, I'd be very worried. And, reading the Riot Act once more is just a mandatory. But everyone's done it, and everyone's going to keep doing it. My hope is that the NFL bans the Isaiah for life. I don't think we can have any more intermediate penalties, 6 games. Forget it. This guy, if he bet on his team, now we've had callers say, "Oh, it's okay to bet on your team to win." I'm like, what's the moral base of the fans? So I would be banning them for life, starting right now, and letting them know. No one's getting a 6-game suspension going forward, and you can take us to court, but they got to protect the image. You want to talk about protect the shield? Is their favorite expression. Their shield is in jeopardy right now because no one believes it's straight and honest.
Pat, don't you believe, we do anyway, that the NFL's made this too messy, that they should do what you just suggested? If you bet on NFL games, you're banned for life. You can apply for reinstatement in a year. It's the old Pete Rose penalty from baseball. And they obviously, never let them back in. But we think it's absurd when you've got legalized sports betting in 33 states that you're going to ban guys because they were on their phone in the parking lot and they placed a $25 bet on the Nuggets and the Heat, and you're going to ban them for 6 games. I mean, don't you think the NFL's kind of complicated this? Make it simple. You can't bet on the NFL. Your career is over. As for what else you do, well, don't lose your money.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. It should be a 1-sentence statement, And the hell with the union and whatever they're going to do. They'll fight anything. By the way, do we have a union leader yet? No. It's simple for me. I've said it all week. I just keep saying it. And I thought 6 games was too light for the Detroit guys. Now, he is going to lose $270,000 of his salary, but no. They perpetuate this by giving wiggle room out. No wiggle room. Bye-bye. You can appeal, but forget it. We're not even taking your letter. Throw it in the file.
Pat, you know, they're going to give us Jet stories every day.
Yep.
And how much that Aaron Rodgers is helping the locker room. Is he helping the locker room, or is he just being there making everybody play harder? I mean, how much is he actually bringing to the table, or is it just the fact that he's there and everybody's so gung-ho now?
The best thing I can answer that with is how I experienced Peyton Manning going to Denver. When Peyton got to Denver, he was basically so strict and so determined on how you prepare to be great that the whole team picked up the pace, including the coaches. And I guarantee you, Aaron Rodgers has got everybody. It's the Peyton effect. Players come on my show and say, I'm just trying to prove to Aaron that I'm good. I'm just trying to make sure he thinks I'm a guy he can throw to. They are all picking up the pace because of really his presence. And that's a good thing.
Can you explain to me why they were in on Odell so hard and they're apparently not in on D-Hop? I mean, either you got 1 to 3 years with Aaron Rodgers. Shouldn't you, if you're the GM and the coach, be like, listen, we just got to keep pushing all our chips in and we'll just, take a look at what the franchise looks like when Aaron retires?
Well, I think a lot of things changed since the Odell conversations, right? They've enhanced the roster, and now Rodgers has seen how good some of the young guys are. I think they're in fine shape. They've got a nice load of receivers, and that now they'd have to start letting guys go. They can't keep them all. Most of these teams are keeping 4 wide receivers, maybe 5. A 6th guy if he's a kick returner. We can get to that subject in a second, but I think it was a different time when they were looking at Odell. And now I think they have what they like, and I think they've had enough on the field stuff that Rodgers is pretty happy about it. Would he say no to getting D-Hop? No, but look, let me just say this without saying too much. D-Hop's no angel. And everybody who's done a little due diligence has found out a few things, and I'm sure you guys know all of it. And so there's people that go, 19 million and all the stuff I found out about him. None of it's really terrible. It's just the way he is. So I don't think he's the guy that's going to inspire the locker room.
What's the weak link on the Jets right now? That defense was pretty good last year. The running back's back. You talked about the receivers. Is it the O-line? I mean, where do you find the weakest spot of the Jets?
Yeah, well, it has to be the O-line, and I think there's going to shuffle the deck here and try to figure it out. The left tackle thing's already a bit. I think Dwayne Brown could become a problem if you ask him to play right tackle for real. It's one thing in shorts. You start asking him to go over there. He's never been over there. He's been a grumpy guy in years past. Ask Houston. So I would think there's still a little issue there. Outside of that, I think the problem they have is managing expectations, whether it's the fan base or the players themselves. They're going to start believing they're the next Denver Bronco, Peyton Manning Super Bowl team. And you got to win them one at a time, which every coach likes to say. But the mindset of the players might be we're now invincible, which would be a disaster for them.
We've got about a minute or so before we break. You made a comment about a kick returner. Okay. How much longer do you think we're going to have kick returns?
Well, I've talked to a number of special teams coaches in the last 2 weeks. Just, okay, now that you're stuck with this rule, what are you doing about it? A lot of them, and a head coach or two, have told me, we're going to return kicks. I don't know if they really will do it as much as they think they're going to do it. Right now, I think they're talking out of frustration and spite because they didn't want this. And you want us to not have returns? You want us to fair catch? Well, guess what? We're going to return them. A lot of guys have also cautioned me, and I know you've heard this from special teams coaches, if you're talking to Mike Westhoff and the guys, they think people are going to get hurt. Because if I start kicking the way I think I'm going to kick, the ball's going to be way high up in the air and short. people are going to be head up looking to catch the ball and they're going to get blown up, or the grub kicks on the ground. Now you're bending over to pick up a ball. And none of this prevents the rush and the blockers.
Pat, as always, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your week in town, and good luck to your hockey team.
Your team too, Mark. You used to be the voice of that team.
A long, long time ago in another
Once a blade, always a blade, Mark. Come on.
Not when they fire you, Pat. Not when they fire you. Miller and
I
Moulton,
still
thanks
like
for
the
listening.
Jets, and I got walking papers. Don't worry about it. Get over it.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're gonna have to go around and get it.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Mm-hmm.
Chi-Town, that's what we said a week or so ago whenever he got released. And $230 million, fully guaranteed. I mean, you're either all in or you're not. Think of their Nick Chubb, Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins, and who's that tight end again? I mean, and an above average offensive line. If I'm the Browns, I'm signing D-Hop short term, and I'm signing Clark, putting him in the middle of that D-line and saying, let's go. "2018 Houston Texans, what? Team that got to the second round of the playoffs? Really?" Chi-Town, I don't know. I think that division's really good.
I don't know if it happened just now, but I'm seeing a tweet that Pat Robinson, the 700 Club guy, died. Was that last night?
Did not see that.
Literally just saw it.
Yes. He's responsible for the Christian Coalition.
That's worked out really well.
And the Christian Broadcasting Network.
He'll get a bunch of money. Deadstroke. He'll get a bunch of money.
I think he'll get 9 figures.
10 seconds.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. David Dwork in a little more than 15 minutes time. For those sticking around for the bonus hour, Frankie Capan, former FGCU golfer who qualified for the U.S. Open on Monday with his mom on the bag. Longest day at golf with mom. And he's in the U.S. Open. And this isn't the first time she's been on the bag. We'll talk to Frankie about it coming up in 40 minutes' time. 21,000 is how you can text the show. You can watch us on twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton and chime in the Twitch chat room.
Did just get a text going, probably a Lions fan, but saying 6 games too light. He bet a college game in a out of state in a hotel. He shouldn't have gotten 6 games.
I agree. I think Pat's. I don't know why. It's real simple. You cannot bet on NFL games. If you do, you're banned for life. We'll let you apply for reinstatement in a year. No guarantees. You let everybody know this will probably cost you your career. But I mean, really? You bet on the Heat Nuggets and you're going to get suspended? I mean, the league's got official gambling partners. The teams all have their casino and gambling partner deals. I mean,
well, and that's the other thing. Look, there are dice games and card games that are going on with these players for big, and they say you can do it as long as there's no money being exchanged, of course.
Right.
Do you know what these guys, I mean, it's chump change to them.
Yeah, they just want the juice, the action. It's disposable income. They're young. You know, if you don't think they should be doing it, that's fine. But if it's legal, I mean, and then it's fine if you leave the parking lot and do it. I mean, come on. It's kind of like when the parents, I believe, like every now and then, my mom would give me a rule in which I would look at her and go, "Come on, Mom, that's ridiculous." Okay, I know the point you're trying to make here. Just make the point. I mean, come on, really? You're going to ground me for that? Come on.
Did you get mad when she went back to it? Because I got in trouble yesterday. The daughter kind of screwed up. Was supposed to have something cleaned and didn't clean it. And I got to gave her a hard time about it, scolded her. And then a little later in the night, because we had a little pool party last night at the clubhouse, and came back and she had to take her, wet clothes off. And I'm like, don't throw them on the floor again. And I got this look as if you already told me this 2 hours ago. And I'm trying to explain to her, I can go back to this well for about a week. I don't know what it is that you seem to have a problem with. Your dad's a sarcastic blankety blank. I'm not going to yell at you, but there's sarcasm involved with anything going on in that room for the next 6 to 10 days.
Don't know what to tell you, 9-year-old. Don't give me the look. My look's better than your look. I've been doing it longer.
I don't know. Those looks by a daughter are tough, David. You know that.
They are.
It's hard.
They are.
Sometimes you have to walk out of the room and laugh.
See, I think the key is you let mom be the daily enforcer. Okay. You come in, like mom's the security guards in the prison. Okay. She's the one in constant contact with the inmates, that what have you. You're the warden. Okay. You can be nice. Hey, how you doing? And then when something happens, you get to play the heavy. Okay. That's how the wife and I did it. She was the security guards, every shift. I played the warden. Want to go jump rope in the yard? Yeah. Okay, fine. Wait a minute. You did what at school? Grounded a week. Hey, I'll bring macaroni and cheese by later.
I've learned, however, there's only one thing that I really needed to know, because I am the security guard. The wife's the warden.
Okay.
I'm around my daughter a lot more just because of jobs.
Right.
And I've found that for a while, there was no greater threat than picking up the phone and calling Santa. The threat of Santa was always a winner. But as she's gotten older, that threat, she doesn't buy it as much.
Right.
So now it's very simple. She has a tablet. And all I have to do is threaten to take the tablet away. And anything that I need done gets done. It is amazing how important those little, these things that we have attached to us all the time are.
I mean, that's where we were lucky. You think about how vulnerable we'd be if we had cell phones as kids, you and I. I mean, man, it was tough enough. Okay. If they could hold that over our heads as well, oh, forget it. We'd have no chance.
Who are you kidding? We weren't allowed in the house.
There were a few rules back in the day, that is for sure.
One of them was get out of the house and don't come home until dinner.
21,000 is how you can text the show. Keyword FSN Radio if you never have before. FSN Radio, all one word, 21,000, and then you're through the security gate, and you can text to your heart's content.
Are you all in now on the MLS? Messi's coming to Miami. It's going to save soccer. It's going to make soccer flourish in America. Soccer's never been bigger. We've got the World Cup coming in 3 years, and now the MLS has Messi.
Empire in our Twitch chat room, right before the top of the hour, I believe it was, sent us I'm all in. I'm buying tickets. I'm signing up for Apple TV Plus. I'm buying a jersey. I'm all in. That was the message we got about Messi signing with the Miami MLS franchise. Will it change your behavior at all towards the MLS? I mean, Apple is betting tens of millions that you'll at least buy Apple TV Plus for MLS games.
The one thing that I didn't take into consideration is how many people worldwide may now get Apple Plus to watch Messi. He's that big that this is beyond America. Because I don't know, again, when he plays, they're going to sell out. The arena or the stadium, the whatever, holds 17, 18,000 people. They're going to sell that out every time they play there.
Well, and also I think every match they play on the road, quite frankly, will be sold out. I really
agree.
do.
But beyond that, that's one thing at the gate. It's the Globetrotters coming to town. That's, it's a big event.
Right.
For a bad league. You know the product you're going to watch isn't great, but you're going to watch this guy.
But those that are listening along the I-75 corridor right now, that's the 4 markets we broadcast in, all along I-75. Don't know how many people listening right now are ever getting to Miami to see Messi play in person. So in order for you to see him, all right, you're going to have to spend money on Apple TV Plus. You're going to do it.
And the fact that part of his contract and part of his deal, along with the part ownership, is that he gets a cut of every single new subscription to Apple TV Plus is brilliant. I love it because I think this is one of the biggest things that has ever happened to Apple TV Plus. Messi coming to the MLS.
Agreed.
Well, here, I'm going to challenge you, Felipe. What's the other thing that's happened to Apple Plus that's done something for you?
Ted Lasso.
That just wrapped up, didn't it?
Yeah.
By the way, do you think this now, because the thought was when Messi led Argentina to the World Cup title that, that was it. He won his cup. He doesn't have to play, he'll be 38 or, next World Cup. Well, now that he's going to be playing in America and the World Cup's going to be in America, do you think now Messi plays in the next World Cup? Just wondering. The Stanley Cup resumes tonight. David Dwork to talk Panthers next.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. And if I would have said don't name Ted Lasso, could you have named another Apple show?
Yeah. There's For All Mankind.
Okay.
There's
you won.
What's that other show?
The morning show.
The morning show, yes. They just made a Tetris movie.
Boy, that should be great. We'll watch that right after Mario Brothers.
Well, it's about like the guy who created Tetris and founded Tetris. Apparently it's really good. By the way, I haven't said this yet, but that first half last night was close, but I think the majority of it consisted of the Miami Heat getting zebraed.
In what way?
Not so much in the second half, but I think they got zebraed in the first half. I think those 3 fouls on Gabe Vincent were such bullshit.
Well, I do believe. I thought the 2 foul sequence.
Yes, terrible,
ridiculous.
terrible. And then they got a bucket off of that. I mean, again, I'm picking apart very specific things here, but I think that first half was terrible. Yet we kept it close. Also, according to NBA Twitter, Messi signing to Inter Miami in NBA terms is LeBron signing with the Shanghai Sharks.
Hey, Felipe.
Yeah.
Take down Pat.
Okay.
Because he's not supposed to do our show. So we don't tweet out his Twitter handle and Sirius, and we try to pretend as if his appearances don't happen.
My bad.
Yeah, it's probably the final, Adam. Joker wins it.
David's on hold.
Great.
It's a great show. It's Apple TV Plus's best show. It's a fictional story about a college football head coach who takes over a Premier League soccer team in the UK. It's phenomenal. Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. David Dwork is kind enough to join us. He covers the Florida Panthers for a living in many ways for Channel 10 on the East Coast. Writes about them for the Hockey News. Hosts the Chirpin' the Cats podcast. You can follow David on Twitter at David Dwork, DWORK. David, it's David and Mark. Good morning. Thanks for your time. What the heck happened in Vegas?
I don't know. They say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, so I'm not totally sure. No, I mean, the Panthers got out of what's been working so well for them throughout the playoffs. They've been playing a tight, consistent, in all three zones, really. They've kept tight gaps. They've been extremely aggressive in the offensive zone and in the neutral zone, really. And Vegas has been fast. They've been impeding physically, and they've gotten their rush game going, which nobody really has been able to do against Florida. And that includes Toronto, who is one of the best during the regular season. So, the Panthers basically have come out of what's been so successful for them throughout. And we spoke about it yesterday at practice that they're really just looking to get back to what works for them.
Well, and David, I might be oversimplifying this, but I thought they have played very undisciplined. The penalties that they're taking are bad. They seem frustrating penalties. And a lot of the things you talked about of what Vegas is doing maybe has caused that, but they've got to stay out of the damn box.
Yeah, and I mean, this is nothing new for them either, right? Like, they've been talking about this during the regular season. It's been an issue in the playoffs, and clearly it's something that, no matter how much we discuss it ad nauseum, no matter how much they address it, it's clearly just not going to go away. How you mitigate that, I can't tell you, because they haven't been able to yet. It's been a big issue, especially when their penalty kill has struggled, which we've seen it in the final, which is interesting because Vegas' power play hasn't been anything particularly special, whether it's been during the regular season or the playoffs. They've been below average when looking at, the amount of teams in the league. So Florida has some things that they have to work out, whether it's on the penalty kill, whether it's with their aggression in the offensive zone. They have not been the same team during the final that they had been the previous, whatever it was, 7-5 for 16 games. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully tonight they get back into it, because if they don't win tonight, then it's basically over.
We were fearful that how in the world could Bob come back from a nearly 10-day layoff and be what he was before the layoff. And we're not putting all this on Bob, but, he was a wall for 6 weeks, and he hasn't been a wall in the first two games.
No, and that's kind of been the fear, right? Like, we've been watching Bob be almost superhuman throughout the playoffs. With the goalie that they paid for, the goalie that they were hoping to get 4 years ago when they signed him to this long contract, Vezina winning pedigree, all that good stuff. He finally, and really, who cares at this point? He gets you to the final, so great on him. But yeah, the fear has probably been kind of festering in the minds of all of us that have watched this team closely since Bob came here. Is, oh God, when is the other shoe going to drop? When is Bob going to come back down to earth? And while, yeah, he struggled the first two games, the team in front of him has struggled just as much. Bob's success during the postseason, he's made a lot of spectacular saves, but the Panthers have done such a good job keeping the area around the net clean, limiting rebound opportunities, because Bob's going to spit out a lot of rebounds. It's just the way he plays. And Florida's done so well playing around him, reminiscent of how Columbus played when Bob was there in the Torch days. I mean, you're seeing him get screened. You're seeing Vegas take more shots from the outside. Credit to the Vegas goalie coach, Sean Burke, former Panthers goaltender, for giving them a great institutional before the series started on ways that they could potentially beat Bob, because he had been so good from in tight. But I really, as much as Bob, his history with the Panthers, I don't think the first two games was all necessarily on him. I thought he made a lot of great saves in game one, and I thought in game two he was screened on at least half the goals. So hopefully he and the team are able to bounce back tonight, because as you said, without Bob playing the way he'd been playing throughout the playoffs, where he was a consummate, favorite heading into the final, as I said before, they've got to get back to what they were doing well, and that includes Bob. Otherwise, they're cooked.
Outside of the Boston series, I thought Florida was able to lean on other teams. They were able to lean on Carolina. I thought they were a tougher, more physical team. I thought they were more physical than Toronto. It seems that they're matched physically, and that's frustrated them. How much does coming home and just getting last line change and some of those things change the way that Florida might be able to take advantage of Vegas tonight?
I think the home bump is going to have more to do with the energy of the crowd and just being back in your home building, sleeping in your own bed, the comforts that you get from being back home. Florida hasn't really done a whole lot matchup-wise in terms of, matching guys up with the home, having the last change at home. Carolina was very, very strict on their matchups. Rod Brindamore wanted to keep them pretty tight. So that's why in the Carolina series, you saw a lot more line-on-line type matchups when you looked at the way the times played out. But in the first 2 rounds, Maurice was just throwing out his guys, rotating his lines, putting out guys depending on which side of the ice the face-up would be on, left or right. That's kind of how he builds his matchup. So I wouldn't really think it was going to be predicated too much on that. I would think more Florida just wants to build off of being home, off their home ice, off their home crowd. They've talked a lot about how great it's been for them throughout. And look, at the end of the day, they're playing a game on the ice, and, you know, nothing on the outside really should matter. But Florida's got to cling to whatever they can at this point because they have to regain the momentum in a series.
David Dwork, Channel 10 in Miami, writes for the Hockey News, hosts the Chirpin' the Cats podcast about the Florida Panthers. Follow him on Twitter at David Dwork, DWORK. What has surprised you the most in the first 2 games?
That Florida gave up 12 goals, probably. Just they had been so locked in defensively throughout the postseason. It's been a little bit surprising. I expected them to struggle a little bit comparatively to the first 3 rounds, just because in terms of their aggression, just because Vegas has so much size in the back end. Their defensive core is probably the biggest in the league in terms of height and weight. They've got some huge guys back there that was going to be an issue for Florida to be that physically imposing. And I think that's played a part in it. But yeah, just in terms of surprises, it's been surprising that it's been so one-sided. Florida had been great throughout the playoffs, keeping games tight, whether they were winning or losing. You know, they won a lot of them. But even the games that they fell behind or that they needed to come back, everything was a 1-goal game. Everything was tight. And, you know, game 1 was 2-2 going into the third period, then got away from the Panthers. Game 2 was something that we hadn't seen probably since game 4 against Boston. And I think that's been the most surprising thing because they had been so consistent for so long.
And they've been getting it from their best players, which they haven't so far. Tkachuk got a goal in game 2, but they obviously are going to need Barkov and Tkachuk to take this series over if Florida's going to get back into it, right?
Yeah, and interestingly enough, Paul Maurice was asked specifically about those 2 guys in that same context of a question yesterday. And he said he's not concerned about either of them. He doesn't think it's an individual thing, that he's fine with how his guys have been producing. He thinks Barkov had an excellent game in game 2 in terms of the way that he was visible, the way that he was distributing the puck. And Matthew Tkachuk, it's been a very frustrating series. You have to imagine for Matthew Tkachuk, 3 misconducts in 2 games. I think he's got like 60-something penalty minutes in the playoffs, 30-something of which have come in the first 2 games. Certainly not what he would have been envisioning for his Stanley Cup final debut. So I think for him, it's just more staying on the ice. I mean, 60 minutes of hockey and 120 minutes of hockey in games 1 and 2, and I think he's missed almost half of it. Just in penalties. So yeah, you need your best players on the ice. That's a good place to start. But I really think it's just because when you talk about Sasha Barkov, you need Carter Verhaeghe and Anthony Duclair to help fuel that line, to be there when he's feeding them, to keep those passing lanes open. With Matthew Tkachuk, I don't think it's so much with the Bennett and Cousins line as much staying on the ice, building that momentum, feeling good about what you're doing, and yeah, just fueling your team.
Well, you mentioned game 4 of the first round against Boston, probably before game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals, their worst performance of the playoffs. They responded. First off, they stayed with Bob, who played game 4, and he came back with them in game 5, and then they won 11 of their next 12. What adjustment, if any, do you expect from the Panthers tonight?
I don't think there's going to be any major adjustments at this point. I think they've kind of been doing what they've been doing and finding so much success in it that the name of the game for them is going to be getting back to where they feel like they are controlling the pace more than they're not. I think Paul Maurice said in game 1 he felt it was fairly even for the most part. In game 2, obviously it was not. But yeah, I wouldn't expect to see anything super different from the Panthers in terms of the way that they're going to play and the way they're going to approach Vegas. I think they're going to try to tighten the screws a bit, keep the gaps a bit tighter because they were not in game 2. And really just try to roll a little bit more. Paul Maurice has been happy with the way their power play has performed, particularly in game 2 when they had some good puck movement. So hopefully they'll get at least even opportunities in game 3. You hate to complain about the officiating, but it has at least felt a little one-sided the first 2 games. And you'd like to keep that even. But again, with the Panthers, I really think despite the hole and the blowout in game 2, the game is that far off. They just need to get back to really working what worked well for them throughout.
Well, David, enjoy the next couple games. You've worked hard for a long time covering this team, and soak it in, enjoy it, and hopefully they make a series of this. We always appreciate your time and your insight, David. Thanks.
Oh, it's my pleasure, fellas. Hopefully we'll do this at least one more time before the season's over.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. It means the Panthers have, well, at least forced a game 6, right?
Absolutely. And I disagree with David on the penalties. I think Florida's earned their penalties. I don't think this has been a zebraed series. I think that Florida's been undisciplined. Their penalties have been warranted. There's a reason why Vegas has the edge in power plays, and it's been on the Florida Panthers playing undisciplined hockey.
I do think that they've allowed Vegas, who's the more, you and I believe they're the more physical team. And I do think the officials have let Vegas get away with some things, particularly around the net, that they don't always let teams get away with.
Yeah, I didn't like the 10 on Tkachuk when he made a clean hit. I don't like giving a guy a 2 and a 10 when he made a legal play. You want to give him a 2 for roughing and take him out, that's fine. I thought that 10 was a little overzealous. It didn't cause a power play for anybody, but it takes Tkachuk off the ice for 10 minutes after a monster hit.
It was 1-0 in game 2. The Panthers had a very good power play, even though they didn't score. And right as the power play was ending, Tkachuk gets cross-checked right in the middle of the back, literally gets driven into the net by the cross-check. The official's looking right at it. He doesn't call it. That's got to be called.
Said it out loud when it happened. But those happen both ways.
Yeah, they do. But then literally, though, as Tkachuk is picking his you-know-what up and heading to the bench, Vegas comes down and scores to make it 2-0. And I know you and I, even though we weren't watching it together, you and I were going, well, that could be a sign as to how this is going to go.
Yeah, that's time to shut the television off type moment, if you know what I mean.
So game 3 tonight, 8 o'clock TNT. Golden Knights and the Panthers. Hey, Panthers now are 0-6 in the finals in their history. Win a game, boys. Come on. Let's make this interesting.
How do you have any faith in them tonight? The way they played games 1 and game 2.
Well, it was 2-2 mid-third. And I thought the game was pretty even. I thought Vegas had their moments where they were in control. I actually thought, the Panthers had a really good period in that game. When it was 2-2, I'm thinking, oh, okay. Next goal probably wins. And Vegas scores on a wrister from just inside the blue line. The type of goal that Bob hadn't given up the whole playoffs. Screened by his own guy. But, listen, we both thought that Florida had a lot of puck luck against Carolina. On the ice, that series was a lot closer than a sweep. 4 one-goal games. Carolina didn't get any calls. They didn't get any puck luck. I felt as if Vegas has had a few breaks in the first couple games too.
Well, partially because they've earned their breaks. Florida's got to be aggressive without being undisciplined. And that starts with Tkachuk because he's been undisciplined at times, David.
How different would this series be if that wide open net in the second period of game 1 when Aiden Hill made the save of his life? How different would this series be? Just the one play like that. We'll never know. But game 3 tonight, 8 o'clock TNT. Denver whooped up on Miami last night, beat them by 15, shot 51%, the Heat 37%. There's not a single stat that the Heat can circle and say, oh, we'll take this into game 4. Not one.
No, they have to throw this game out as quickly as possible and get ready for game 4. Once again, they're just excuses, but Jimmy Butler after the game saying something about effort and energy. No, you didn't make your shots.
Right.
It's that simple. Shoot better.
Huh? They shot 51%. You shot 37%. I mean, and they didn't shoot well from 3, by the way.
No, they were awful.
Yeah, they whooped you by 15. They only made 5 of them? Something like that? I mean, they did, which meant that they shot damn near 65% inside the arc last night. So
defensively, Miami's got to be better in game 4. Denver was better. They were better at covering threes last night than they had been in the series. Miami did not have nearly as many open looks as they had been getting.
Listen, it's one thing for Jokic to get his. You can't let Murray get his. They both get theirs. It's going to be a tough series to win.
Well, again, you can let Jokic get his, but you can't have him get his and have 10 assists.
Right. Like in game 2, he had 40-something. How many assists?
4.
That's 6 buckets. That's a minimum of 12 points. There you go.
And when their two best players have 20 combined assists, that does not bode well for the Miami Heat. Tampa, St. Pete, Lake City, Port Charlotte, and Venice. We'll do this all over again tomorrow. The bonus hour in the 239 is next. Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. So did she have to carry him in the Corn Ferry event?
Well, that's, something that, get into, that because I saw them talk about, I saw a segment on the Golf Channel about him that they were talking, and they said, she had caddied for him a decent amount, but she thought it was time for him to get a regular professional caddy. And he was scuffling, and he got rid of the caddy before the last event, and she took over the bag, and he finished 6th. And then he went and qualified for the Open. So, got to get into it. It's fascinating.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's got I don't know if his dad's still alive. I'm assuming he is, but he's got a mom, a dad, and 2 sisters. So in the family, why mom? How did mom end up on the bag? How did this start? I also want to ask him how he got to FGCU. He started his career at Alabama. He was the number 2 golfer on the team. Transferred to FGCU. We know it wasn't for the NIL.
Golf capital, baby. We'll see.
Don't get going with Miller and Moulton. We thought from when this was a struggling D1 athletic department 15 plus years ago that this should have been the transfer capital of the Southeast. Mark, from the first time we ever talked about FGCU golf and tennis on this station, Mark said, I have no idea how they're not a top 20 program in both sports.
I don't get it.
We're close to 1,000. How about that?
How about that is right. Even if half of them are bots, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, spelled Capan, pronounced Sapin.
Tell Frankie that Johnny McDonald from the West Bay Bag Room says hello.
Kirby needs to be a nicer person, Sean. He's very
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the bonus hour on this Thursday. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when. Some final thoughts and predictions coming up in about 40 minutes' time. Frankie Sapin's kind enough to join us right now. On Monday, he went out and qualified for the U.S. Open. Hot damn. Before that, he was a standout at FGCU, and before that, he was a terrific player at Alabama. Frankie, it's David and Mark. Congratulations. Thanks for your time. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys having me on this morning.
So is this number 1 so far? I mean, you've, qualified on the Korn Ferry Tour. You're in the top 30. You obviously you had a really good college career, but is Monday right now, is that the biggest, greatest thing you've ever done?
I would have to say yes. I mean, I've never competed in a major championship. So this being my first, I would have to say yes. Won some pretty big tournaments that have set me up for some other opportunities. However, with this being my first major championship, I would have to agree with this being one of my biggest accomplishments thus far.
Frankie, they call it the longest day in golf, but when you're playing as well as you were in the qualifier, was it a long day for you? Were you how do you go through in between the 18 holes after putting together a really good 18, knowing you have 18 more? Just talk to us about the qualifier.
Yeah, of course. I would say it was a fairly long day. I was coming off 3 weeks on the road, 3 straight Korn Ferry Tour events, and actually had a fairly good week in Raleigh. In the Korn Ferry event, came in tied for 6th. So after playing 4 straight days in a row, including a couple practice rounds before. It definitely did feel like a long day. But, you know, like you said, when you're playing well, things tend to go faster. It's like saying, you know, time flies when you're having fun. So my mom and I out there, we were having a great time. But yes, it was a long day. After my first round, I shot 5 under, but I ended up finishing with a double, which, in all honesty, I think was really good for me. It kind of put me in a spot where it ticked me off a little bit and inspired me to go out and play well in the afternoon round. So between rounds, I actually just went to my car, ate some lunch, and listened to a little music and tried to get zoned in for that afternoon round.
Okay. I mean, we've got all these questions we want to ask you, and we'll get to the fact that mom was on the bag and all that. But what music?
I found this one song. It's by Bishop Briggs. I hadn't heard it until a few days before. It's called White Flag. And it's an upbeat song. And the lyrics talk about how, you know, you could be down, but you're never going to raise that white flag. So I listened to that a couple times. Homecoming by Kanye West. That's a good one as well. I think those are the 2 songs I listened to on repeat. And yeah, obviously it worked. We'll have to keep going with those 2.
No doubt there. All right, mom on the bag. This is part of the reason we wanted to have you on. We know you played at FGCU, and it's a great story. But how did mom end up on the bag? I know this wasn't her first time. How did you decide that mom's caddy?
That's a great question. She's actually caddied for me in several junior events before. She used to caddy for me in a junior event in Florida that I would go play when I was 10, 11, and 12. And we won that junior event every time. So we'd had some success. And then she took over when I needed a caddy in one of the biggest amateur events when I was in college. And we did well. We ended up making the Sweet 16 at the Western Am. And then I needed a caddy for Q school and asked a few people, and the schedule didn't line up for them, with it being kind of 4 weeks back to back. And she caddied for me, and we rolled through Q school, came in 3rd at pre-qualifying, won first stage by 8, won second stage, and then placed top 10 at final stage. So we'd obviously had some success together, and I'd been working with this new kid in Minnesota caddying for me, and it was going well. Super good kid. But we decided to split ways, and I wanted her back on the bag and had a good week in Raleigh, and then was able to punch our ticket to the U.S. Open.
What is it about mom? First off, was mom a golfer? All right. I mean, what is it about mom? Because we joked, okay, you know, the 2 of us, I used to be a golfer, and we joked about when we played, when we tried to be Frankie Capan. Okay, could we have had mom on the bag? And we both love our moms. We are close with our moms. I'm a mama's boy. I could never have had my mom on the bag. What is it about mom?
So she did play some golf. She played on her high school team. I don't think she was nearly as into it as I am, but she had fun with it, and she's a very athletic person. I would say the one thing about her on the bag is she allows me to play kind of the way I like to play. And at the end of the day, I've played this game for so long that I know the clubs to select. I know where I need to be. I know where I need to hit it and all those things. But she's able to kind of keep me in a comfortable headspace, and she just knows me so well that she knows what to say, what not to say, and always seems to say the right thing at the right time. So I think, as you two being golfers, one of the most important things when you're out there is just being comfortable and confident. And she's someone that whenever she's on my bag, that's how I feel.
All right. Has she ever given you a wrong yardage? Has she ever made a mistake in which you would have yelled at another caddy, but you have look over and it's mom and go, damn, I can't yell at mom?
The funny thing, she actually hasn't. But I think it's because I end up doing most of the yardages. I give her 3 jobs. Keep the towel wet, keep me fed and hydrated. So every 3-4 holes, she'll just hand me food and tell me to eat. And then she charts the wind before the round. So those are her 3 jobs. Keep the towel wet, keep me hydrated and fed, and make sure we know where the wind's coming from at all times.
David, it's better than the 3 ups that most caddies get, which is show up, keep up, and shut up. You can't do those with mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Frankie
I try and keep it pretty simple for her, and she's been doing a phenomenal job. It's funny because she's been picking up little things from other caddies, and she's a quick learner. And I think that a couple other caddies on the Corn Ferry Tour have given the nickname Under Par Char. So we like that.
Nice. Charlene is Frankie's mom, and congratulations, Mom, on contributing to Frankie Sapan's success. You can follow Frankie on Twitter at Frankie, i.e. Sapan, Capan. By the way, how did you end up at FGCU? You grew up in Minnesota. You did say you had success in an amateur event in Florida when you were 10, 11, and 12, but you started your college career at Alabama. You were doing well. You were the number 2 guy on an SEC team. What brought you to FGCU?
Yeah. So after being at Alabama for a couple of years, was playing fine. We had a solid squad, but just after being there for a couple of years, I knew it wasn't the best fit for me. And I decided to enter the transfer portal. And right around that time, one of my best friends by the name of Van Holmgren, who I'm sure you may have heard of, played on the FGCU team, is a really great player. He had just transferred there along with another one of my buddies, Brady Madsen, who are both from Minnesota. So I knew them growing up a lot. And he said, "Hey man, you can go wherever you want." I had some pretty solid options when I was in the portal. And after taking a visit to FGCU, meeting head coach Andrew Dana, and just being on campus and playing the courses that we were going to play, I decided that, I've always thought about wanting to move to Florida when I turned professional. And I thought it was a great opportunity to kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone and be with 2 of my really good friends, and in a program that's getting better by the day. And we wanted to go in and kind of flip the program upside down, and we were able to do that. I think when we showed up, we were ranked 218th in the country, and then by the time we all left, we were, I think, 40th or 42nd. So that was a pretty good feat for us, and sure had a lot of fun doing it.
And we think it can be a perennial top 20 program, and part of the reason is what you guys did and accomplished in that year. All right, the Open. When do you go to LA? How are you going to handle practice? How do you take next weekend?
So I'm leaving Saturday. I get in midday on Saturday. Obviously, this is one of the biggest weeks of my life thus far. So when I first get there, I kind of want to take it all in. So then by the time we tee it up on Thursday, it's just another tournament. It's a major championship, and I'm sure there's going to be nerves. But like I said, it's just another golf tournament. I want to get there early and kind of get those the whole aura of the U.S. Open out a little bit. But I plan on preparing I'm going to walk the course on Sunday, and then I might play 9. And I think I'll probably play 9 each day. Just because you can waste a lot of energy before tournaments. And I think it's important, especially major week on a difficult course like the U.S. Open tends to be, to conserve as much energy as you possibly can. And so then you're just the most prepared as possible.
Frankie, congratulations on what you, with the help of Mom, accomplished on Monday. Congratulations on your success so far, top 30 on the Corn Ferry Tour. And safe travels. Have a great week. And hopefully we can talk again.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I appreciate you allowing me to join, and best of luck moving forward. Hope to talk soon.
Frankie Sappin and Mom Charlene getting it done.
Love Mom on the bag.
Well, and he's now Felipe's new favorite golfer because he played Kanye in between 18.
I know. I have Felipe text me wanting to ask what his favorite Kanye album is. I'm like, really? Our audience doesn't care, Felipe. I want to let you know that. Miller and Moulton, the good, the bad, and the ugly, coming up in 25 minutes right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6, and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone, on 5th Avenue in Naples.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
For the one person that might care, Frankie said his favorite Kanye album is 808s and Heartbreak.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said for the one person who might care, Frankie said his favorite Kanye album is 808s and Heartbreak.
When I saw Mark sharply turn his head around to the left, and that's when I knew that you were, when he said Kanye, I went, oh, he's got a fan.
Because I'm pretty sure he's 22.
He's 23.
He's 23, whatever.
Yep.
I think what did he graduate last year?
Right. He graduated in
so he's my age.
No, he's 23. I think he turns 24 in like November.
Same grade.
Yep. Yeah.
Class of 2018, baby.
Sean, Kirby is difficult if you're a member of the media. I mean, it's one thing to be like Mark D'Antonio difficult, where he's just, I'm doing this out of obligation and I'm just not going to give you much. Okay, we get it. He's not mean about it. He's not nasty about it. Kirby's not nice.
Well,
that's all.
Spo had to walk back his comments when he attacked kind of threw on the attack after game 2.
Was it Shelburne? Ramona?
Yeah. and he walked that back. I thought he was out of line, telling her that that's just the untrained eye. I thought that was a really crappy response to anybody.
Well, and that's that line that you walk also as an athlete and a coach, where I think you should be allowed to criticize the female reporter the same way you could criticize the male reporter. But if you're wrong, okay, it's a worse look for you as a coach and an athlete.
But I don't recall too many times when Spo's going after any reporter.
Yeah, it's true.
That's
right.
Why, to me, I took that as interesting.
Especially off a win.
Right.
Right.
I think he can laugh and say, hey, we did a really good job tonight, but it's tough. I just thought, and I'm glad he walked it back. You can walk it back the next day.
See, Sean, I don't know if there's more of a college football media they're a bunch of lapdogs. I mean, who the hell gives Kirby a hard time? First off, he's won 2 national titles and played for 3. I mean, you could make the argument right now he's a Hall of Fame coach. He's tremendous.
You could make the argument right now he's the greatest Georgia football coach ever. And
right. What is there to criticize Kirby about? Honestly. Okay, but I'm just telling you, he does not like the media. And he treats them accordingly. You asked, I'm telling you. Okay. And you would think with the success that he has had that he could lighten up a little bit. And he hasn't at all. So that's all. That's all. I mean, if he cared enough and I was his media consultant, I would just say to him, hey, don't treat every interview as if you're under attack. Let them attack you before you attack them. That's all.
I still don't think Spo was going after anyone, honestly. I just think he's tired of hearing the same stuff every time, and that he's basically just saying, that's not how this works.
Well, if he apologized, then
yeah,
he knew he was wrong.
If he didn't apologize, then I'd agree with you. He came out and apologized and said he was wrong. I thought he was out of line when I heard it. And I didn't even realize that it was a female reporter at first, because I just heard that I heard that the answer before I heard the question. And then I went, ooh, and he went after a woman too. That's interesting.
Here we go.
It's the bonus hour of Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. You missed any of our interviews. We had a bunch of them today. Bob Harig, over an hour and a half ago, live from Toronto, talking PGA Tour, LIV. Pat Kirwan joined us, top of the 8 o'clock hour. Our weekly, let's get up to date what's going on in the NFL. David Dwork, about 45 minutes ago. We're going to have a series in the Stanley Cup Finals. Panthers lost the first 2 games by a combined total of 12-4. Game 3 is tonight. We going to get a game? Going to get a series or not? And then, I don't know. We don't go local a lot because most of you over the years have told us you don't want us going local. That's not why I listen. That's what the local TV station in theory is supposed to be for. That's what the local newspaper in theory is supposed to be for. Trust me, we've done heavy doses of local over the last 20 years on this station. And most times you tell us, could you go back to talking about the Dolphins, please? But I really enjoyed that 12 minutes with Frankie Sapp in there.
I love the fact how highly he spoke of his time at FGCU. After going to Alabama, by the way.
Right. Yeah. Just, a dumpy program.
He didn't transfer in from Minnesota. Where you're playing golf in the Big Ten going, why am I doing this? I want to go somewhere where it's warm all the time.
Right. He was the number 2 golfer at Alabama. You know who was the number 1 golfer at Alabama a couple years before Frankie Sappin? Justin Thomas. Tell you what, though, and he talked about, hey, we were ranked in the 200s before me and a couple buddies got there. And when we left, we were ranked 42nd. They did something that so far no other program at that school has done. They got an at-large berth to the NCAAs.
And by no other program, we mean in all sports.
Correct.
Pointing that out.
Right. Right. I mean, baseball, softball, women's basketball, men's basketball, you name the sport. Okay. FGCU has only gotten NCAA bids, volleyball, which they've made it a few times now. Excellent program. But they have to win the conference to get in. The men's golf program actually got screwed out of a bid. I'll bore you for 10 seconds. Okay, most every other sport besides the major sports, they do it strictly by RPI with no, deviation whatsoever. They just take a look. We got 20 at-large spots left. Let's take a look at the top 20 RPI schools, put them in. Thank you. They don't take anything else into consideration. In 2021, for whatever reason, they put 2 golf programs who were behind FGCU in the RPI in ahead of them. And the NCAA people said, yeah, first team out was FGCU. And FGCU is like, well, why? But then the next year, they got in with an RPI of like 49. And they got in. And they made history.
Once they were able to beat the West Bay Cart Barn, things turned up for them. I'm telling you right now.
That's when they knew they were good. That's when they got their confidence. Well, it is true. When the guys in the cart barn start losing money at golf, that's when they know, damn, these guys are good.
This is a good team right here. There's some potential on this team.
They shouldn't have any trouble with Stetson if they're beating us.
And we mentioned it. We talked, Pat brought it up a little bit. The Everblades win last night. They're up 3-0. Game away from back-to-back Kelly Cups.
1-0 too. I mean, just a tense game. Goal late second. Then you're hanging on the whole third. Idaho's pulling the goalie late. That's a playoff hockey game right there.
They'll try to close it out on Friday. If they do not close it out on Friday, Game 5 is scheduled for Saturday.
And by the way, I think tomorrow's, is it already sold out?
I believe so.
A buddy of mine texted me. He got there. He went straight from work. Like the earliest they opened the doors, he was there. He went straight to the bar. He said, it's been that kind of a week already. And he said, when I went up to the, will call there or the ticket gate, and they said, yeah, we got 125 tickets left. And that was at, I guess, around, 5:30, 6 o'clock yesterday. That was for a Wednesday, Game 3. Never mind a Friday, Saturday potential 4 and 5.
No, I think, the Blades have to really be complimented on their resurgence, not just on the ice, but off the ice. They went through a lull where tickets were down. They weren't drawn the way they were. And a lot's been done since the Hoffman Group bought the arena. It's a lot cleaner. It's a lot better, but they've done a great job in the front office of bringing people in. They really have. Went to a couple games this year. They've gotten back to getting the good group tickets done and all the little things that make sure that there's about 5,000 in there every night. And now tonight or tomorrow night, they'll be sold out for Game 4 of the Kelly Cup Finals.
To go back-to-back, baby. Number 3. You got to retire. If you're Craig Brush, don't you have to? You go back-to-back, don't you see? Say, I'm done. Come on. What I mean,
what are you gonna do?
Well, I know. Well, can he get like an emeritus?
Paycheck. Are you kidding me?
Well, can he get an emeritus thing after 25 years?
Wants to pay? Are you nuts?
Well, but if you do it right, the certain schools and country clubs and organizations, they give you that emeritus thing. They also give you the paycheck that goes with it.
Okay, David, you're the GM of a minor league team, and you've won back-to-back, and I'm going to tell you can't be GM anymore. You've wanted to be the GM of any team. You would be the GM of a fantasy team if I could get you to stick around long enough. And this is a real team that Craig Brush has run from the hockey standpoint. He coached youth hockey, and now he's a GM of a minor league team. And he's done really well. Quit. Are you serious?
I didn't say quit.
You just did. You said quit. You didn't.
Retire.
What? You want to play the tape back?
There's a way to do it. You still get to keep the office.
No. He likes the hands-on. He likes determining the team.
I know that.
I know. You don't do that if you're an emeritus.
But I mean, come on, his tan is spectacular. I mean, it's not like he doesn't spend time out of the office. He's got a life. Just saying. I mean, by the way, just think about his hockey career. He played on the last undefeated college hockey team, Cornell. National champ, the last one, what was it, 70 or 71? Because Dryden was a rookie with the Canadians when he won the cup with them in 71. Was it the 1970 Cornell team?
So.
They're the last, you know how the 76 Indiana men's basketball team's the last undefeated, men's basketball national champion? Cornell hockey, he was on that team. That's the last undefeated hockey national championship. And then, all the coaching and what have you that he's done and the 25-year legacy with the Blades. I think there's a leaf blower outside my window.
There's something. I thought you were under attack.
That's what I think's going on.
Or there's a battle, like a Star Wars battle. I thought it was two lightsabers going at it in the background. That's what it sounded like to me.
I thought it was a Kanye song. I didn't know.
You'll sample that.
My mother, who loves Felipe, texted me and said, "Don't have him talk Kanye." I'm like, "Oh, wow. Mom turning on Felipe."
Wow. Really?
Kanye. So.
More on Kanye coming up in about 20 minutes.
In the 11 o'clock hour.
Oh, no. No. In the next segment.
Oh, there's a tease. Well done. So, there you go.
There it is. It's the bonus hour. We'll go local occasionally. We just did.
Hey, doesn't Brett Ralph have to get a gig? I mean, if you're the Panthers, don't you make him your AHL coach or something? I mean, how much more does this guy have to do?
And I don't know the reasons why he's not getting it. I've not paid close enough attention, but he definitely has earned his shot at the next level. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was a day when. What's on tap? That's how we finish things off on a Thursday on Miller and Moulton.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. And Hops, Frankie will be in Hollywood next week. The U.S. Open is at the L.A. Country Club. That has got to be loud for that microphone to pick that up.
By the way, Dolphins win the Dolphins win the AFC East. Let's go. Josh Allen on the cover of Madden. Oh my gosh. Perfect timing for that Madden curse to kick in. Can't wait.
Is that the actual cover that I saw?
Yeah. Josh Allen is the cover athlete of Madden 24.
So that means Dolphins are winning the East, right?
Sure, yep. Perfect timing.
Is that really loud to you? Because the fact that it's coming over the mic is amazing to me. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to try to turn down the microphone now.
Well, I can turn you down.
Yeah, you might as well.
Yeah. I will.
I don't know where it is either. Like it's not right outside my window, even though it sounds it.
I saw a funny tweet. Dolphins release a video of Tyreek Hill saying like, "Oh, 10 to 10. Welcome to Miami, Messi, blah, blah, blah. Like, happy to have you." Someone quoted and said, "There's not a chance in the world that Messi knows who Tyreek Hill is." Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
"22 minutes till the top of the hour, 16 until we're out of here." So how bad does the leaf blower sound now?
Oh, with the music on in the background, I can't hear it at all.
Oh,
we just
okay.
keep the music going, it works great.
Well, Felipe wants to do the whole show with the music going in the background. He just wants to change the music that we have. That's all. Probably gets us rights violations, kicked off YouTube and, whatever. But he'd play music for 4 hours behind us.
This music's in-house.
So there you go.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
James Madison introduces a proposed Bill of Rights in the U.S. House today in 1789.
One of the greatest documents ever.
1917, Walt Disney graduates from high school.
Boy, wonder what his yearbook said about him.
Will never accomplish anything. Likes to doodle too much.
Right. He's a dreamer.
In 33, Jimmy Fox hits 3 consecutive home runs for Philadelphia. It would be 4 straight because he had homered the last time up on the previous day. Bing Crosby records Silent Night today in 42.
If he had just done it a little differently, it would have caught on.
The Brooklyn Dodgers make room for Sandy Koufax on their roster today in 1955 by optioning this pitcher. David, care to take a stab?
Tommy Lasorda.
That is correct. Today in 68, the Stones released Jumpin' Jack Flash. Bunch of things happened today in 69. The Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour last airs on CBS, revolutionary show. The Stones kick Brian Jones out of the group and replace him with Mick Taylor. And it's Mickey Mantle Day at Yankee Stadium as 6,096 see number 7 retired. Today in 80, Borg wins his 3rd straight French title. In 83, Trading Places is released. In 84, Ghostbusters is released.
Who you going to call?
Ghostbusters. This one pretty much for old people like David and I. Today in 92, Steve Howe is banned from baseball for the 7th time.
You remember when he played for the Dodgers and Lasorda was so anti-drug use, which I think most of us are, but he had no sympathy at all. Tommy Lasorda felt you do drugs once, you should be banned from the game for life, and you do it a second time, you should get the death penalty. I mean, that's where he was on drugs. And he's got Steve Howe, who, spent 12 years in and out of rehab and failing drug tests and what have you. But when he pitched, he was tremendous. He was a closer on the 81 Dodgers who won the World Series.
96, Steffi wins her 5th straight French crown. 2002, Lennox Lewis, an 8th round knockout over Mike Tyson.
He kicked the tar out of Tyson. Destroyed him. He was a punching bag for a half an hour.
That same day in 2002, actually I had these in the wrong order because it was certainly earlier, Serena wins her 1st French, defeating Venus. Rafi equals Borg's 4 consecutive French titles, beating Roger Federer today in 2008. Golden State claims their 3rd title in 4 years, beating the Cavs in a sweep today in 2018.
LeBron's last game as a Cav, right?
Frank Lloyd Wright, Leroy Neiman, Barbara Bush, Jerry Stiller, and Joan Rivers would have all celebrated birthdays today. Boz Scaggs is 79. Troy Vincent's 53, Kanye's 46, and Kim Clijsters is 40. What did I miss, David?
So Kanye's 46. How old is Ye?
Oh, like 1 now? It's been Ye. But at heart.
Calls him Ye. I don't even think his wife calls him Ye. Okay. The first Porsche. They rolled that sucker off today in 48, apparently. First
okay.
Porsche. Let's see what else I got here. In 49, Orwell's 1984 was published. And unfortunately, Martin Luther King Jr., when he was shot and killed on April 4th, it took until June 8th for them to round up James Earl Ray. 9 weeks. Got every federal marshal in the country looking after you. Took 9 weeks to find you. That's all I got.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
They now know who he is. Johnny Taylor is a retired handyman, and he is the one a couple of months ago that took down the $476 million Mega Million jackpot. He said it still doesn't feel real. The convenience store, Liberty Beer and Convenience, will get $10,000 for selling the winning ticket. That's a place I want to hang out. Liberty Beer and Convenience.
Where are you going? Going down to Liberty. The university? No, Beer and Convenience.
For the bad, we go to Inglewood, where Charlotte County Sheriff's Office is attempting to identify the person who stole a Captain Morgan statue from Beach Discount Liquors. If this is 20 years ago, I'd have known exactly who stole it. And they're probably listening right now, and you know who you are. Surveillance video captured the moment when the thief put the pirate statue in the back of a blue two-door pickup.
That's something you do when you're in college, right? Or maybe
Bingo.
just after college, you're in your early 20s, and you go, this would look good.
Yeah, there's a few places in North Naples this would have been in.
I'm going to say, just above the TV, this would look great.
Finally, the ugly. We go to India, New Delhi, where a government official in India has been suspended from his job after he ordered a water reservoir to be drained so he could retrieve his smartphone, which he had dropped while taking a selfie. He first asked local divers to jump in the reservoir to find the device, claiming it contained sensitive government data. But after the initial efforts to retrieve the phone failed, he asked for the reservoir to be dumped using diesel pumps. Over the next 3 days, over 2 million liters of water were pumped out of the reservoir.
Dude,
the smartphone was eventually retrieved, but wouldn't even start because it was waterlogged.
Hey, dude, did you save everything in the cloud? I mean, just go down to Verizon, for goodness sake.
Is that David? Tech Time with David, but David taking over? I'm impressed.
Well, listen, when the alternative is to drain the lake.
Oh, yeah, that's one
I
of the
mean,
stupidest
even
things
I would go, listen, I can barely turn the thing on and off. But if you go down to these stores, they could probably help you. I mean, you probably backed everything up and you don't even realize it. Besides, nobody's jumping into that lake for your private, sensitive government information.
He was sitting there under an umbrella watching.
Unbelievable.
Don't
you know who I am?
Exactly. That's having a hand in using it right there, David.
Drain the lake. Golly. Man.
Tomorrow on Tech Time with David, we'll work on the cloud.
Puffy clouds, pretty clouds, rain clouds. We got like 6 baseball games this afternoon. One of them's the Rays and Twins. I mean, you got 3 hours. You know, you don't feel like working the rest of the day. Let's go.
I just want to watch a Rosarena's first at bat and see if he gets plunked.
Well, I want to watch the first inning or second inning whenever this Brunson kid or Brinson for the Reds, Benson, he hit the walk-off 2-run homer. Honestly, it's the most obnoxious celebratory home run I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, who had the bat flip that got everybody hot and bothered a couple years ago? It is that times 10,000.
Kershaw is pitching for the Dodgers too. I can't imagine, and he's right-handed. Okay, Kershaw being a lefty and the kid who homered is right-handed, so he's got to be okay, in the lineup. Man, oh man. That's what I want to see. I want to see if Kershaw goes, hey, we're the Dodgers, for goodness sakes. Okay, you want to celebrate like that against the A's or the Diamondbacks? That's fine.
Good news is that game is nationally televised. If you want to watch, it's at 12:35 start on MLB Network.
Wonder if they'll talk about it at all beforehand.
I think they'll show it beforehand.
How could you not? He's still celebrating, for goodness sakes. Yankees going to try to make up the game that got smogged out yesterday, as are the Tigers and Phillies. They're going to play at 6 o'clock, but the Yankees and White Sox are going to try to play a doubleheader today. They think the bad stuff is like leaving now, and it will be gone by lunch. And it will head to Maryland and Virginia and what have you. We'll see how close it gets to us. It's no big deal or anything. It just looks like a nuclear event.
Post-apocalyptic New York.
Right. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to see here, literally. We got College World Series tonight, 8 o'clock ESPN. Florida State needs to beat Oklahoma, which no one has done in their last, 52 games, to prevent Oklahoma from a three-peat.
Yeah, Oklahoma looked like they were angered by people talking that Florida State could beat them yesterday.
I know. Lighten up, Francis. Come on now.
Not how they play.
No, it isn't.
They have managed to be that good and play with a chip on their shoulder. That is really hard to do.
They're 60-1. They've won 52 in a row. Going for a three-peat tonight against Florida State, 8 o'clock ESPN, 8 o'clock TNT, Game 3 Stanley Cup Finals. Panthers a slight favorite, which let me tell you, if you watched any of the first two games, you're a little surprised about that. I thought Vegas would be a slight favorite tonight.
I'd love to pick Florida. I don't have the guts to do it. There's nothing that I've seen in this series that makes me think they're going to win tonight. I know they're at home, but Bobrovsky has not played well. Tkachuk has not played well. Vegas is deep. They're big on the blue line. Florida's having trouble getting to the front of the net and get to those scoring spots that they were able to get to against Carolina.
And everything you've said is true. What concerns me the most is Florida was not blowing defensive assignments in their own zone at all against the final few games of the Boston series, Toronto and Carolina. Vegas has had wide open scoring opportunities in the slot and high slot on numerous occasions through two games. It's like, do you guys not know? I mean, there are times in which it looks like Florida's playing shorthanded in their zone. That's how much they're blowing assignments. Mark, that's what I want to see tonight in the first period. Can they play a good, solid, tight checking, shots on goal are 8-7, no high threat scoring chances by Vegas? That's what I want to see from Florida in the first period.
I'd just love to see this game be 1-0 at the end of the first period, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. True.
I don't even care what way. I mean, obviously, it would be nice to see the Panthers to get out in front in a game, but they did in game one, and that didn't help them either.
And we're 2 games away from one of the greatest Cinderella stories of all time. A guy who was essentially the starting goalie for Vegas's ECHL franchise being the winning goalie on a Stanley Cup team. This Aiden Hill story is something.
Safe to say Vegas had depth between the pipes in the organization.
Come on. They didn't think this kid was this good if he was going to play at the Eckel.
Well, he played there. He's more of an A goalie. He'd only played a brief time in the ECHL several years ago. He's mostly been between the NHL and the AHL, but still, it wasn't the guy they were planning on playing goal for him. There's no doubt about that, David.
No, the closest he was to being the starting goalie was 4th on the depth chart. Some say he was 5th. Others say he was 4th.
Have a terrific rest of your day. We'll wrap up the week tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah, hi. Excuse me.
Hey.